Okay, guys, we are live! So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly, what do I be? Your friendly rogue trader, I guess, today, because today we are carrying on with our ongoing campaign playing, Fantasy Flight Games' outstanding Rogue Trader for Warhammer 40K RPG. And with me tonight are the stars of the Rogue Trader campaign we've been playing on the channel. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing? First up, we've got our resident armor smith, Dave.
Hey everybody, I'm Dave. I'm playing Godwin. He is the ship's seneschal and master of whispers.
Nice. Next up is James.
Hey, I'm James, and I'm playing Regius Benetek, the ship's navigator.
Nice. Next up is Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and I'm playing Alessander. He is the Void Master, and I didn't write down my second title for some reason.
Nice.
Ship's something important.
Yeah, I think you're...
Don't worry about it. Very important.
You're like the master... there was some... I think you're the pilot of something.
It was a... Oh yeah, that sounds right.
It was
Master
something.
of movement.
Master of moving things.
Yeah,
Motion master.
Must have been cooler than that. Come on, Dave.
Yeah, I do not recall what...
I don't remember
well, in any
either.
event, I'm sure
Doesn't
we'll find it in a
matter.
moment. Last, but certainly not least, is Sean.
Hey, I'm playing Quinili Aquade, the scion of the Aquade family of rogue traders.
Yes. Lord Captain as well.
Lord Captain. And I think Alessander's Master Helmsman. Is it Master Helmsman?
Oh, that could be. Yeah,
That sounds
that
about
sounds
right.
much.
It's on page 226 of the Into the Storm.
Oh, terrific. Thank you. I was just grabbing that.
Kev's
Beautiful.
always got to remind you that you're the Lord Captain, not just the Captain.
Yeah.
Lord Captain to you.
Beautiful. Thanks, Sean.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Yes, Master Helmsman is responsible for safely piloting the vessel through the void of space. So, guys, this is, I think, part 3 of our adventure, A Passenger Most Malign. It has been, at the time of recording, a month, or 4 weeks at least, since we played last. What do you guys recall having happened in the first couple of sessions of this adventure? Let's see if I've got any visual aids for you. I actually do not have any visual aids for you yet.
Didn't our Sinetians checks from Regius help determine that there was like people on board that were like we had aside from the accidents that actually happened, there were other people on board that were potentially dangerous. So we went looking for them on the ship.
That's part right. Yes, there was a series of 3 seemingly unconnected instances of kind of like murder, suicide, sabotage, where there were 3 different areas of the ship where one crew member managed to sabotage the ship, killing themselves, and 3 others, but in 3 very different ways. The ship's surgeon brought that to the captain's attention, and from there you guys had commenced an investigation. Godwin, you did have a fairly eventful time down near one of the food preparation areas.
Yeah, I went and had a little chat with some boys, and some knives were drawn, some words were spoken, a couple guys died.
Yeah.
But before one of them, froze in terror at my threat to his family, yeah, it got a little ugly. And then we determined that there was somebody else had been watching, and I chased that guy down. And he was the one that was actually the threat that was convincing them to effectively mutiny.
Yeah, and do you recall what it was that they were doing? Because it wasn't just mutiny.
They were going to poison the traders district. It would be like 250 people in the trader's district would have received poison food,
Yes.
poison meat.
Yeah. So yet another instance of agonizing death by a bunch of different members of the crew. This, that was, I'm trying to think if that was the last thing that happened.
We got back together, and we were reporting back.
We spoke to the section chiefs. I remember doing that in the bridge.
Yeah.
And Octus suggested concentrating power to certain sections to alert the machine spirits to help us search for the culprits, or at least...
Yes, by turning down or depowering other parts of the ship. Regius also did a search of the Scrappers district, and I think you had a less than encouraging welcome there. And Alessander, I'm not sure you came across anything of interest in the Hab floors.
I did not know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I learned nothing.
Anna wishes you better luck next time. So, anything else you guys recall?
And we determined that was it the municipal service storage? Was that the area that was a particular interest to us? Was it not that there could be some?
That's where Godwin ran into those folks.
Okay.
Let me see what's going on outside.
The cooks.
Oh, the neighbors. Anna never approves. No shenanigans. It's also with daylight savings, it's fucking pitch black outside now too. So, anything else you recall? Or anything else we missed?
Wasn't there something to the effect of we think that there might have been something from the warp that had done this, and that if we can leave the warp and effectively jettison this entity, that it might go away and we can leave it behind and continue on our journey, or something like that effect?
Yeah, the Geller field that is up may be trapping this thing in, but it's, unless there were failures or basically the things that would have caused the failures of the field in the course of the travel is something that Regis likely would have detected. Your ship is particularly useful because of the wards and whatnot that are on it. It is particularly useful for navigating around those things, which makes you guys think that this thing may have been on board since since before you made the transition into warp.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
So we were going to, what was our next steps, you think? We were going to, weren't we going to do some searching? Wasn't the captain going to go down on a morale, a pseudo morale trip around the municipal service storage, something like that? Am I dreaming that up?
No, that does sound like what
familiar?
I remember.
That's what I did.
Right.
That's where I was, and discovered those guys in the food area.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe the need for it is past, but we definitely, I feel like we discussed that as a possibility at least.
Yeah, because Regis had focused his Psynescence, and because it's difficult to do so in the warp, he wasn't able to give you a specific location, but he was able to narrow it down to a fairly, a neighborhood, if you will, on your 20,000 souls strong community here, or mini city. And that's where Godwin went the investigation, or investigated for this, and that's where you revealed the sabotage. But it seems as if that's the fourth now, or at least that is the fourth attempt, the first one foiled for sabotage on your ship. That is not the common way that things go, which made you think that's something there is something malign that is on this ship that is trying to feed on that. I can't remember if it was Regius or Lady Ash who filled you in on it, but these things feed on fear and the disquiet natures and agony, any kind of negative emotion. And so if you aren't able to deal with this thing, you may be down a significant percentage of your crew as it drives more and more of them to harming themselves and others. And then there will be the spillover effect of that as members of the crew start fearing for whatever is hunting them.
Yep.
So
I remember some discussion of also, of course, flogging towards better morale. Kind of just
identify and purge.
if we have to, we can keep that in our pocket.
Right.
Oh, it's always an
we
option.
need it.
It's always an option, Captain. It's always an option.
Yep.
all right. So then, guys, what are we going to do? I guess first off, is there anything else that you guys recall? Anything else we missed from our summary here?
I remember.
Nothing I can think of.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So our session opens then with our stalwart Lord Captain returning to his quarters. And if you could, Sean, would you kindly tell us what are we seeing when we join the Captain in his personal quarters? It has been a very long day of hunting this thing, but there is nothing to be done this evening.
I'm feeling like this room's in there.
Yeah.
This room right here.
Yeah.
A lot of skulls.
The necessary skull decor. Yeah. It comes with Imperial IKEA, has all of those. You know, the worst thing is when you assemble a wall like that and you got 6 skulls left over.
Yeah.
Like, well, where the fuck am I going to put these now? Come on.
Oh, come on, right? Yeah.
Bedposts. Oh, sorry.
That too. I have, I have old enemies here. I have ex-girlfriend skulls. I mean, the whole 9 yards. They're nice collection.
Okay.
There are probably a number of skull servitors.
Yep.
That if they're not already with me, immediately probably start doing things. Hit the lights, maybe whatever they're able to do, whatever they are to maybe.
Well, they will kind of buzz to life as you come in, but they don't have hands. So, but what you do have is you have your captain's steward, of course. His name is Holt, and he will be guiding those. He will assist you in removing some of your accoutrements of station. What does Captain Aquare do to relax or to collect himself before he retires for the evening?
I'm sure he has a glass of his favorite. It's Amasek, is it not? Isn't Warhammer 40,000? It's Amasek is what it's called. The the expensive. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He has a fine glass of his typical preferred Amasek, and he will probably. There's probably something he reviews.
Like status reports and stuff from the different.
Yeah, like a last executive report that he glances at.
It's got your data slate, and you just
data slate. Yeah, data slate. That's it. That's those words that are key. They're key in this game. He probably the steward hands me the data. So, I walk in, Amasek, data slate. This is the standard. So he grabs it. Oh, and he gets. The steward puts him in his favorite robe, of course, adorned with all sorts of his family accoutrement. Of initials and cursive nonsense and whatever sigils.
Yeah.
Halt. And he'll take everything and he'll lay down in that lounge right there on the left, that comfy couch looking thing. And
what Holt says is that, sir, I understand there have been troubles with the kitchen, so we have ensured that your meal for this evening has been prepared especially for you.
Excellent. You must have heard my stomach grumbling, Holt. Here we go. Yes. And I put my glass to the side and put my, I want to say that I have somewhere to put, I've run into this before, so I have somewhere to put my data slate, that up on the top.
It's probably a servitor that you can just kind of hang it off of.
There we go.
Okay.
Maybe even off a skull or something, it's got a little spot, know, and I'm like,
well, they're part,
I can move it.
Yeah, they're part, what do you call it? Part robot anyway, right? Or part robotic? Yeah. Where is it here? I thought I had a... Yeah, here's what you have in your room.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So apart from the, you finally have some an opportunity to have some privacy. The status reports. I think that. You know what? What are your lores again?
Mine.
Any of them, or is there
lores.
a profession skill relating to rogue tradering, if you will?
I have common lore rogue trader.
Yeah, give us a roll on that, please. Make it easy, please. So that'll be plus 20, I think.
Okay. Yeah, those buttons don't work.
Easy is plus 30.
Rolling
Oh yeah, that's the one that.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. So
be plus 30 to your score.
Okay, it's 72.
72. Okay, so just you're getting a little lost in the numbers here, where it's just like, and it could be your imagination playing tricks on you, but there just seems to be, there is a degree where on average the efficiency of the crew is down 1.5%. So whether that is the impact, the loss of the bodies, the having to shut down and reevaluate that one section that had tried to poison another part of the crew, or otherwise, if you're going to implement any other kind of, I guess what you've thought of what what's his name, Octus had suggested, rerouting power and shutting down systems is going to likewise affect if crew efficiency, and if you implement any more widespread security investigation, likewise will also affect crew efficiency, possibly morale even. But what is going through Captain Aquare's mind right now for this threat to his crew?
I mean, I think we made reasonable progress in a short period of time, meeting it head on. And he tries to console himself that it has to do with being in the warp, that this is a, hopefully a temporary situation.
How does he feel about being in the warp?
An unnecessary risk. It's
not a place of comfort for him.
No, I think he's pragmatic. That without it, mankind would be in a completely different place. If you couldn't go through the warp, if you couldn't make these jumps. I mean, he's aware of all this, so he's educated. He knows all about it. He's gone through the warp since he was.
Well, I didn't ask what he knows.
Oh,
I asked how he feels.
Well, but he's got his feelings are pragmatic about it. Like he knows it's a necessary evil. This can happen. He feels he's got. I guess he does probably have a. It's impossible. Well, not impossible, but he has there is a certain superstitiousness of spending time aboard ships, and I think he tries to beat that back with pragmatism. That is this some kind of a harbinger? Like have I angered my ancestors or some? And it's like okay.
It is going to your ancestor's ship and then coming back that it's clearly something there. Oof. I mean, the warp is wide and vast. Who's to say that what if those creatures, those metallic creatures that came so close to slaughtering your crew and yourself, what if they were agents and creatures of the warp as well?
And I think he goes down that hole, for a bit. He's not even sure how long. And then he hears his father's voice. okay, seriously, like, come on, let's go, Quinelli, like, you done, this kind of
And I think to that end too, you can hear Holt behind you say, "We'll be finishing that, sir. Or would you like it to go to the reclamators?"
Yes, Holt, yes, thank you. And I hand it to him, and then I think I go to my shelf right nearby and pull off my great grandfather's journal that I read in when I am feeling melancholy.
Is this not the same person who?
Some other whatever.
Another Aquare.
It's not important exactly which Aquare, but one of them back there. That wrote
so
a
you
mean
get
journal.
over.
Yeah.
And I mean, these would be. I imagine these would be data slates of one
Data
kind
slate,
or another, right? Okay, so you may, they may write it. The reason being, I think it seems like the stuff that they write shit down on, it seems to be religious in context, because we see lots of like streamers and scrolls and shit hanging off of things, but those seem to be religious edicts. So if there is something that is going to make use of the written word, it's certainly possible that your ancestor may have had a particular interest in that, that specific bit of extravagance. But it equally could be that he is, that they have left their, audio logs as well, instead of just, Star Trek style, because you certainly have the technology for storing that stuff here. I mean, the idea of then it coming out of a vocoder or a Vox unit attached to a servitor, a skull servitor, means that you're having a talking skull drift next to you as you get ready for bed.
And I like the, it's kind of scratchy. It's like classic. If we were doing it now from like World War I or something. What? It's like,
yeah. And is there a particular passage, like a comforting passage, you were turning this to, or?
Yeah, I think he's got a bunch of them. He's been doing this a while, and he turns to one about the warp. Okay. Probably something of we are Aquare. I'm sure it all gets down to we're Aquare. Snap out of it. Like, this is what we do. So what? So you're
Servitor, play playlist confidence.
So you're going to be a rogue trader and not like the warp? Are you serious? What is wrong with you? Some version of like, a much more with more flourishes, with more Aquare. Sure. But like, get a hold of yourself, man. This is what we do. This is the source of our riches, our glory, our destiny. This kind of a.
But it sounds like Quinelli is, to a degree, trying to convince himself of that.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's reading it for comfort. He's reading it to get a little cup of, some drink to be confident. He's like reading his grandfather for confidence.
Yeah. So then Holt asked, will there be anything else, Lord Captain?
Take us out of the warp, Holt? No, I'm joking, of course. No, nothing else, Holt. Nothing else.
Very well, sir. Good evening. And he leaves you with either the audio of your ancestor or
scratching away.
Yeah, playing away through the staticky, it's the scratched record playing through a cab speaker kind of thing.
Right.
And you must have drifted off to sleep. Do you recall the vision that you had the last time you were in the warp?
That is a flickering star circled by a dust world and a frozen halo. This is what I have in my notes.
That is what Regis viewed.
Okay.
So it does not matter.
Give me a hint. Yeah.
You are asleep. Or at least you must be. Because you are once again drifting in vacuum. Only You have no vac suit on, and you feel completely at ease. You know the vacuum, you have been born to it, as it were. So the murmuring of voices that you're hearing, again, this must be a dream, because there is no sound in the void of space. And yet, here you drift. A strange, greenish world with yellowed clouds drifting around it. And you hear the murmuring seems to be getting louder. And it's from behind you. And you know that momentum needs to be deployed carefully while in the void, or make use of thrusters or other units on your vac suit, but you're able to drift around as if you were standing on a solid surface, or perhaps in water. And what you see looming above you, this must be 20, maybe 50 times the size of the Mortis Probati. A titanic Xenos ship. And the sounds of the murmuring that you can hear are coming from in that. You cannot make out any words. Except for one. Home. Now, there may be all sorts of different reactions that Captain Aquare may feel seeing this enormous Xenos vessel. To call it a vessel is a really a disservice. This thing may be larger than the station that you had started your journey into the Coronis Expanse by visiting. That was... No, Footfall's on the interior of it. The first station is Port Wander. This is larger than even that. Where your vessel fits 20,000 souls in your crew, this could have 1 million. Maybe more. And the voice you hear is home. They're all saying it. And then you hear a single voice say, "Watch out." And you awaken. And would you give us a... I think it's listen in this game. Hey guys, want to know what's on the Imperium Maledictum screen?
Yeah.
Full skill list and specialties.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So,
awareness?
Awareness, yeah, that's right. It is a consolidated skill. Yeah, awareness, please.
Challenging?
Yes, please, yeah.
There we go.
So you awaken, and we're going to hear how you feel about your dream in a moment. But you snap awake, and you realize you are not in this room alone. The lights are all off. There's the humming, perhaps, of the grav... whatever it is, whatever generators or power unit is causing the servos to drift, the hover units, I guess. There's maybe some lights coming off of, one or two computer units that are in here, or cogitator units. And what you can see is some figure, man-sized, is stalking towards your bed. And with 3.4 degrees of success, you can see clearly the weapon in its hand. So let's not measure things.
No.
There we go. This one, I don't think you can roll initiative without clicking on the token. So if you wouldn't mind clicking on your token and then click on initiative.
It said I have to click the token.
Yeah, I said you have to click the token with this one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
I
okay.
was thinking that you said opposite. Yeah. Got you.
I made that sentence far too complicated.
There we go.
All right.
When the cards are down.
Exactly. Quad A acts.
That's right.
Okay. Let's see here. Why don't we use here this feller? And it is. That is. Okay. Captain Aquade, you are up first. What would you like to do?
I go for the weapon. I have to seize the initiative, as it were, and I'm a skilled melee fighter, and I know I've got to control the weapon hand, and I go for it.
Your weapon, by which I take it you mean your power sword, is not where you left it.
But I mean, I go for his weapon.
Oh, you go for his weapon.
Yeah.
Okay. So
like I'm gonna try to grab his wrist.
Sure. So that would be then a disarm attempt. I mean, I say attempt. I'm sure you're going to be successful in your efforts.
Aquade.
In some parts of the galaxy, we play rock, paper, scissors. Others, we play grapple, power, sword, chain fist. So, Okay, so grappling will be half action. This action is used when a character is already engaged in a grapple. Well, thanks, game. Let's learn how to grapple. This is an unarmed combat check.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Unarmed combat.
Yeah, he can. If you're successful, I'll try and parry.
All right. So a challenging weapon skill or something like that?
Challenging, unarmed, yeah. Are you trained in unarmed?
Is that
should be challenging weapon skill test. Oh, if your opponent is armed, it's actually a hard -20.
All right.
You got fate points.
Exactly. Okay, -20.
See, Captain. That is impressive. Would you like to fate point that?
I would.
Okay.
All right. Got that out of the way. Oof, better,
but yeah. All right. So you go forward and try and catch him. Unfortunately, you can hear a distinctive hum, because it appears that this figure is wielding your power sword. So you are not able to get in close enough in order to do that, but this figure will now swing your power sword at you. That will connect. Would you like to try and dodge?
I would.
I'm assuming you're not going to parry.
That is correct. Unless I can grab one of those skulls out of the air. That won't be a very good shield anyway. So no, dodging. Dodging is
Go right ahead.
There we go.
There you go. All right. So you dive out of the way, and you can hear there is damage done to your bed. Back to you. What are you doing? Not a word has been spoken yet. Also, someone must have been fucking with the temperature gauge in here because it's freezing in your room. You were up, Captain. You are unarmed, and this figure seems to be still approaching you.
I think I'm going to dive at him again. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
Nothing. You know, I'm not. I mean, other than that, I have to go grab a paper weight or something.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna dive at him.
Okay.
And I scream out. Do I recognize who it is?
I don't think you do in this point. No.
Okay. Okay. So I dive.
Okay.
I try to grapple.
Go right ahead. Same attack at minus 20.
Okay. There we go.
There you go. Okay. So we'll try and parry. Isn't there some kind of rule with parrying with a power sword too?
With that particular one, let's see.
Cut your arm off.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So we succeeded in a parry.
Okay.
Would you give us a percentile roll, please? Roll higher, 70. 6 or higher. You want to fate point that?
Okay.
Okay. 76 or higher.
Nope.
Okay. Then the damage. This is on the screen. You know, somehow they don't have the armor rules for PJs in here. That's really unfortunate.
No. This is an aquade robe, is what you're not understanding. I mean, come on now.
Well, I thought that's for lounging, not for sleeping. Okay. All right, so power sword. That is. I have to roll a second parry. Did not. Okay, so at least it didn't get. Didn't explode. That is 15 points of damage. Subtract your toughness bonus from that.
Okay.
What's your toughness bonus?
4.
Okay, so 11 points of damage. So that was a very near miss for it. You're going to have some, definitely some discoloration from that afterwards. Then it is this thing's turn. There, having come close to properly harming you, sword is brought around again, misses you once again, and then yeah, that's it for it. I aimed and I swung, did not connect. Captain Aquari, what are you doing?
So the servitors, you were kidding about the combat servitor being in here, I assume, right? Yep. I thought you were, but it's worth checking at this time.
Yeah, good time to check.
Sean, I told you you had a combat servitor in there. What were you doing?
Why are you dead?
Right. I'm going to try to go for the door.
Okay. So then, I think that what you need to do is disengage then, right? Lest you take an attack of opportunity.
That sounds correct.
Break off from combat and you may make a half move. So they don't get
I do have, do acrobatics, is that a thing? I'm gonna say that,
I believe acrobatics is a thing.
Special use. When taking the disengage action in combat, the explorer may make an acrobatics test to reduce it to a half action.
That might give you enough time to actually get the door open then.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I will fate point.
Okay.
There we go.
There you go. So you're able to get over to the door. You hit the activator for the door. It is locked.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he does not get to aim, so he runs towards you and swings that sword once again. I'd like you to dodge for us, please.
There we go.
I am going to roll damage. It might actually cut the door,
Hit the door?
to a degree. Yeah.
That would be cinematic.
So it's 10 points of damage, and there is, I think, structural values on the screen too. Yeah, here we
But
go.
a sword coming to the door might alert somebody in a hallway.
Exactly. Unfortunately, didn't quite roll enough to get it through. Very close, but not quite enough. And you can see, gosh, I think what so many of your foes have seen, Captain Aquare. What would you like to do next?
So he did strike the door and damaged it, but not enough to go through.
Damaged it, but not enough to go through. Yeah. Certainly was swung well enough to go through you, though.
I'm going to I am going to I'm going to try to dive on the other side of my desk.
Okay. So go ahead and give us. Are you disengaging as a full action this time, or are you going to try an acrobatics again?
No, I'll try to acrobatics.
Okay.
I don't think there's a downside. I don't know if there is. I'm not aware of it. You know, like you can give it a shot.
I think it's
You tell me
wasting a half
differently.
action. Then you wouldn't be able to disengage. That's the downside.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Can we look it up? Is there a possibility that we?
Well,
could,
no, that's precisely what it is. Is because you
okay.
It's a half action to try and attempt it, right?
Because the way the hint reads, and it's, you know, it is the hint, not in the book, but it says, when taking the disengage action in combat, the explorer may make an acrobatics test to reduce it to a half action. I mean, it makes it sound
so
like
then you're taking the action. So then if you don't, you're just disengaging. You don't get the extra action.
That's
Yeah.
how it sounds.
Yeah.
I mean,
Go ahead.
okay. I will go through my second to last fate point.
Okay.
Nope.
All right. So that means this thing is able to carry after you. Fucking 19. That's a hit. Give us another dodge, please.
All right. Last one. There we go.
Nice. It narrowly misses you again. You can hear the hum of it as it passes by. You may have disengaged. You're standing next to your desk right now. What would you like to do?
I'm going to try to use my chair as a defensive, try to keep that between me and
Yeah.
me and my attacker.
An improvised weapon. Okay. So it'll be a half action to grab the chair, and then are you just trying to keep it between the two of you?
I'm going to try to back my way towards the door with the chair in between us is my intention. I'll take the way around the desk that he's not on, or she.
Well,
he
no,
or she's
you're not
on.
able. You're with only a half move, because that's also allowed with a disengage. I don't think you took a half move to get to the door last time.
Gotcha.
You would have moved back to being at the desk. You're not on the far side of the desk.
Okay, I will go to the far side of the desk
Okay.
and try to put the chair between us.
Then you're going to need to roll another acrobatics check, because you need to be able to do this as a half action, or it'll be an action you cannot do.
Okay. Oh, so close.
Okay. So
I
then
just get there.
didn't
or
get
whatever.
there. I have not had a reaction with this one yet. Missed. And actually, hold on. You may have an opportunity here. I just rolled double zeros.
Oh.
So I think he swings at you, and it gets caught in the chair right now. He has not yet been disarmed, but I think if you did a strength on strength check just by like moving the chair, you may disarm him.
I'll give it a shot.
Okay, go and give us a strength
Strength is not
check.
my main thing, but we'll give it a shot.
If it is Holt, you are stronger than him, hopefully. Okay. I failed by 6, though, because I rolled an 88 on this. So you turn, and the sword is ripped out of this person's hand, and you can hear it depower as soon as it spins around. That was a half action. You still have another half action. What would you like to do?
Go for the sword.
Okay. You will need another strength check to just pull this out of here. This will be a routine, so plus 20 to your strength.
All right. Okay. Negative.
Okay.
Stuck in there good.
But you do have your hand on it at least.
There we go.
All right.
And my robe, I think, is going crimson for our purposes of how, because I almost went down.
Do you mean a gown, like a nightgown you're wearing?
No, like a furry, big, like luxurious hotel, like.
Right, but you wouldn't sleep in that though, would you?
I think. Oh, I was picturing I just kind of fell asleep on the couch, but
no, you're in bed.
Okay. Well, then I have my finery on, my bed finery.
PJs.
Bed finery. Thank you very much.
40K. What's a 40K grim and perilous onesie look like?
It's Lord Captain.
Satin. Lord Captain and his satin onesie.
Yeah,
that's right.
Absolutely.
All right, so then this guy's going to try and yank the thing around and disarm you as well. Go ahead and give us a strength check, please.
Okay.
I succeeded, but it's by less than 1.
You got me.
So you've been disarmed again. Okay. He's actually going to have to make an awareness check to see where the thing is. No, he's got his fucking hands on it again. Your turn. What are you doing? This really is turning into a Marx Brothers routine. Yeah, out of yours. Out of yours. Out of yours.
It's not activated, right? I guess
it is not activated. No. So, as an example, what you could try and like turn it around again too. But I think you could also kick it towards him, like kick the chair where the sword is currently stuck towards him. That might knock it out of his hand and then send it off into this blackened room.
Sure. Yeah, sounds good.
So let's give us a routine unarmed combat check or routine weapon skill check, please.
Okay. Routines plus 20, right? That's what you
That's
intended?
correct. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry.
Right. No, I just making sure.
Forgot it doesn't have the drop down. There you go.
Yeah.
So it goes skittering off into the thing. So let me make a post strength. Failed. He doesn't seem to have the sword in his hand. You still have a half action.
Did I see where the sword went?
Give us an awareness check. This will be, hold on, in darkness. Yep. So where's our universal modifiers? Here.
Difficult, hard.
Complete darkness minus 30. So give us an awareness at minus 30, please.
Okay. Negative.
Oh, no.
I don't know where the fuck it went. All right, so then on his turn, let's go back to those grappling rules. He's going to try and pull you to the ground. There's no way that that's a success. So he comes in.
I'm going to bleed all over this guy.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Your turn. What are you doing? He is engaged with you right now and has been trying to grab hold of you. I did not succeed.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna just engage back, I guess. I don't know where it is. Yeah. So I'm gonna. Yep.
So this will be a challenging weapon skill test. He is no longer armed. It's a little easier for you now.
Yeah. There we go.
Success. Let's see if he can dodge. He does not. Ugh. Go ahead. Now, are you trying to grab him or are you trying to strike him?
Pummel his noggin into my cabin deck.
So that is going to have to grapple.
Okay.
Because if you're going to grab him and throw him into something, that is a grapple, because then you can grapple him, and on subsequent turns you can try and do damage to
Hurt him. Yep.
Okay, so then you have succeeded.
Okay.
And then let's see here. Okay, so then you have grappled him successfully. Now he can try and escape from this. Is that right? Yeah, you can try and break free. You can make like Freddie Mercury. So he is going to try and do an opposed strength check with you again. I failed. Go ahead and give us a strength check. I failed by 5.
Well, I got that.
Okay, so you're both kind of... It's good that the lights are off, because this would not be a really good showing for either of you. He has failed to break free, so it's your turn. If you wish to grapple again, you can damage your opponent by making a opposed strength test. This is 1d5 minus 3 plus your strength bonus. And it inflicts 1 level of fatigue, so this is a good way of wearing him down.
All right. I'm in. I'm going.
Okay, opposed strength check. I failed by 0.
You got me.
Okay. So, next round, he's going to try and escape. Does not escape. Your turn. What are you doing?
Once again, trying to put his noggin to the ground.
I failed this time. I failed by 6.
By how much?
By 6.
Okay.
So then give us a 1. What's your strength bonus?
3.
3. So give us a 1d5 roll, please.
Okay.
Nice.
Flesh wound.
Oof. But it also inflicts a level of fatigue.
There you go.
So you hear, that means fatigue gives minus 10 to actions, doesn't it? Isn't that what fatigue does?
That's a good, it's been a while. Let's see here. Fatigue on page 251.
I'm going to my Game Master screen. Let's see if I have full
Characters
confidence.
suffering from any level of fatigue suffer minus 10 penalty to all tests.
Heck yeah, it's all up there. And then they max out at their toughness bonus, right?
But I'm sure you're correct. Fatigue. A character can take a number of levels of fatigue equal to his toughness bonus and still function.
There we go.
Yep.
It's still up there.
Yep.
All right, so he's going to try and shake free. I've only been reading 2 other 40K games with completely different rule sets, so
Right.
at least something is still up there. I failed on my attempt to get free, struggling and screaming. It's making like inhuman sounds. I say it because you're still not quite sure what this is that you're grappling with. Your turn. What are you doing?
Same thing, but I think I'm screaming too. I'm like, you die, some kind of cursing, ah!
All right, I failed by 6.
All right.
Because it's fatigued.
Fatigue
You failed by less. Give us a 1d5 roll.
Okay. All right. A little better?
Solid hit. Last, he's going to try and escape. That's a fail. Go ahead, your last one. I say last one because hopefully you'll take him down this time. I failed by 7 this time.
I still got you then.
Okay. Go ahead and roll damage. 1d5.
There we go.
Oh, 1 solid hit. And you hear the sound of this person hitting the ground. Now you have the wherewithal to realize that you can, any number of these servitors, you could have called out to them and had the lights come on.
It's a quad A. It's what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
I that's what I tell myself. That's the.
I had all my focus on dealing with this.
Okay, so I ask for the lights.
Okay. So the lights go on and try and contain your shock. It is Holt.
And I think is he unconscious? Is he unconscious?
You just beat the bejesus out of an old man. Yeah, he's unconscious.
I shake him, reactively and say, "Why, Holt? Why?"
And he is just muttering nonsense right now. He's also got 2 pretty big welts on his head where you fucking bashed him. Then you can hear, without having to make an awareness check, there's the sound of something that walks on the ground. And you look over, and on one of the open floors, it's as if a footstep, a distinctly inhuman foot, places down and then frost forms out and from it, leaving an empty shape, but you cannot see what it is that is making that footprint. It steps in 3 long strides, leaving the frozen footprint behind it directly into the wall. What do you do?
I yell out. I'm not. Are my servitors able to? If I yelled security, would they be able to do something? You know,
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so I do that. I go security immediately.
Okay. So, Godwin, Regius, and Alessander, where do you think that? I'm assuming you guys all keep the same kind of cycle, whatever watch happens to include all of you guys. Where would we find each of you in the nighttime hours? I mean, I know Regis is dancing to the bangles, is it? With his weird Gumby arms? No, what do you think you guys would be doing? Would you be sleeping at this hour? Would there be anything keeping you up?
Alessander is the kind of person who sleeps very lightly and very little, so he's the kind of person who would probably be patrolling the decks, or checking up on like some of his crew that he would be on opposite shifts and stuff, because he's got pilots or people that man the ship that he would not work with all the time, but he would want to sort of check up on his people, all that kind of stuff. He's sort of a nervous person, right?
Yeah.
A
So there's
worrier.
like bags under his eyes as he's checking in with crew for this like 3rd or 4th time this evening.
Yeah, exactly.
What about Regis and Godwin?
Godwin sleeps like a rock.
Okay.
He needs to get his sleep. But yes, so I think he is fast asleep in bed, especially after having such a trying day. The fight and the stress of like being in martial combat with people who are like physically stronger and whatnot would have been really wearing on him. So he probably would have gone straight to bed and probably got like his room totally secured, though. He's like, extra locks and an open comm in case something happens.
Yeah. Okay. And what about Regis?
Probably in his chambers, just letting the feeling of the war drift in and out.
Okay.
Since we're traveling through, it'll just be his senses out there.
Okay. So apart from Godwin, then Alessander and Regius seems are not sleeping well this evening, and that's when you were suddenly hit with the alarms. And I don't think this is going to sound around the... How do you think it would have been programmed, Captain or Lord Captain? Would it have been, when you call for the alarms, is it the entire ship that is put on red alert, or is it only your quarters? You didn't specify. I'm just curious if you would have had the forethought to place the entire ship on red alert.
I think,
like, unless you say otherwise, I think you've said to sound the alarm.
Sure.
I'm assuming that's the entire ship then.
Sure. I mean, he's been in the middle of, I think anything's reasonable here. He's been in the middle of a battle to the death with his trusted steward. No.
Okay. So what, it'll probably take a minute or so for, I mean, your house guard will be in momentarily. They come in, take positions around you. They check to see if you're okay. What do you do when they walk in?
I think I was, if it takes them, more than a second, which it sounds like it does, I'm going for my sword. I want my sword.
Yeah. And you activate it, and you're easily able to extricate it from your now ruined desk chair.
Yep.
So they walk in.
Hopefully that didn't belong to my great great.
I mean, what doesn't in here? Everything is you know, your dental floss is something that comes from your ancestors. So
my father will be devastated. But it's the desk chair. Do not let anything happen to that chair.
So as they come in, you know, in their regalia and with their weapons and whatnot, Lord Captain, are you safe?
No, there is a intruder aboard. He is, can I see? Is there any residue, or is there any way to tell from where he stepped? Oh, there's no frost. Is there?
There may be little droplets of water. You did act pretty quickly, so maybe there's still, they can make out vaguely a form of the condensation that remains on there.
I say there is a. There is an intruder aboard. I want Holt here brought to medical under guard. Do not let him leave until I say so. I want medical on the bridge, and I want my chief staff on the bridge. And I go storming out towards the bridge.
Okay.
I grab my robe and I put it on as I head towards the bridge.
I love the idea that what he sleeps in is like, you know, college kids in the early 2000s, where it's got like your ship name on the ass in print, but it's hospital pants.
But it's very expensive. Very, very expensive.
Oh, it's very fancy.
Yeah. I was thinking it was like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, monogrammed, you know, night robe kind of thing.
Well, the robe too. I mean, we're not forgetting about the robe. I mean, that's...
So, Alessander, Regius, and Godwin, you're able to meet up with the other sort of the heads of or department heads, and Captain Aquari is most certainly not dressed for. He's not dressed for being on the bridge as normal, and he is brandishing his power sword.
And I'm pretty obviously badly wounded. So, I mean, I took 11 out of 14. So,
yeah, fortunately, you haven't taken, I mean, there's cuts on your, I think it's more like abrasions, because like that, this is the kind of thing you can walk off in no time, right? You haven't taken any critical hits yet?
No.
It's more like being tired.
Did I say yet?
Because here comes the real sword in the back.
Right.
Okay.
It too, Brute?
So, you all come aboard the bridge, Captain. What happens, or Lord Captain? What happens next?
I go striding to my throne, obviously, and you know, await who's going to come in last.
Your cousin hops out of the way, allows you to take it.
Yeah, before I shove him out of the way, and get to my throne. And I mean, I'm going to give my sword a few swings just because I'm pissed off. And you know, where's everyone? You know, I'm going to start bellowing. I mean, it's time. It's, you know, I'm wounded. It's painful. Where's medical? Where's my staff?
So,
and I'm weaving. I'm whipping my sword around. No one get too close.
I think it's fair to say that the Lord Captain is agitated about something.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll come over with my pistol drawn, like as like, you know.
Yeah.
We're going to war, right? What's going on, Captain?
We are at war, Alessander. I'll wait for the others, but keep your eyes open because we have
a mutiny?
An intruder. No, an intruder on board, but they're very difficult to see. The only thing I could make out was this. They bring with them a. Kevin, is there a known connection between the warp and a cold temperature? Is that a thing?
Not necessarily, but a fluctuation in temperature. I think that you would. Okay. It's, if you've read the stories about shit like that kind of thing, atmospheric disturbances, auditory hallucinations, you know, visual hallucinations. That's the kind of shit that creatures of the warp and psychics will manifest as. So,
Alessander, there seems to be a warp creature aboard. He was in my cabin tonight, and I, you know, in any other context it'd be weird, but I open my. You know, I open my robe and show him the wounds, or you know.
I think there's real serious. Like, imagine what road rash would be like, but with the grazing impact. The thing is, like, this isn't the way I'm interpreting the wound stuff is like it's not physical, it's the wearing down of results. If you're hit with a power sword, you're going to lose your fucking arm, or you're going to at the very least have a horrific laceration. He did not manage to properly connect, but there's nasty bruising.
Yeah. So I was attacked tonight, Alexander.
Clearly.
It was believe it or not, it was Holt, my steward, but he could not have obviously been in his right mind, like the others, the other crew that were sabotaging the ship, that seemed to be their mind consumed, taken over. And then at the end of my combat with Holt, that I barely survived, there was a creature that fluctuated the temperature of my cabin, and that's footprint was frosted over on the cabin floor, and then walked directly. Clearly, I could tell it walked directly into the bulkhead, or to the wall of the cabin, and then, but the whole time I couldn't see it, actually, just its footprint. So it is aboard. It's difficult to see, but we are indeed being stalked on our own ship.
Interesting.
Regius, is there something you might be able to do again? And now that you have this new information about the temperature, and perhaps we can look at temperature fluctuations within the ship, and you can use your Synesians to try and narrow down where this entity is and trap it.
I don't think I can use Synesians in connection with cold or anything. I will just see disruptions in the warp.
Yeah, and it's because you're in the warp. That's the problem with it's effectively trying to hear a single note while you have your head next to a active speaker, right? Yeah. Although he was successful in narrowing down an area last time.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if we can look for major temperature fluctuations, we can figure out where you can focus, is what I meant.
Yeah. So then if I get very close to it, maybe I can detect
so
better.
That's going to be challenging and a more long-term project, because this is not like this is the technology of the Imperium. It's not impossible that you would be able to get that kind of detailed information, but this is a ship that is cobbled together from several ships that were in the that were part of a space hulk. For one, there's all sorts of imperfect functions in the ship on account of it just being, the people who are in charge of running the technology here are techno priests who believe they speak to machine spirits when they're getting it to operate. So there's that, and you're currently in the warp where these kinds of fluctuations. So I only say that to mention that if they are successful in locating or identifying those kind of fluctuations, and it wasn't like the temperature was so cold that it was freezing things. It was definitely of a freezing temperature, so there's a fluctuation of about 20 degrees Celsius perhaps, but it'll be a heck of a feat if they're able to identify specific parts of this 2-kilometer long ship where there are there are not temperature fluctuations.
Would it be easier if what happens if we drop out of warp early?
You won't know where you are, for one.
Right.
That's not to say you couldn't go back in, but
because if I remember, we were thinking of dropping out of warp to try and drive it out and then go back into warp.
Well, it seems that possibility needs to be considered a little greater, given that our captain, Lord Captain, has been attacked in his own chambers.
More importantly, where's medical?
Yes, Captain, they're probably on the way.
Captain, would you give us a D100 roll, please?
This is your exaggeration check.
Okay.
My hyperbole is excellent.
Was this for their Medicaid?
I believe you mean.
Exactly. Yeah.
I believe you mean consistent.
All right.
Yes.
So then you
Yes.
can recover 4 points of damage.
All right.
Oh, hold on. No, you are... Yeah, you're too heavily injured. You would have actually recovered only 1. Sorry.
All right.
I forgot. The results of first aid depend on how badly down you are. All right. So, there is some kind of spray that is being put on. Now, Alessandro, would you kindly give us a D100 roll, please?
Yep. Well, there we go.
So, Octus, when you say that, Octus has gone over to, while you guys you're getting treated and the rest of you are discussing, he's going over and is commencing a search for temperature fluctuations. And again, I want you to appreciate just how difficult this may be if it's successful. But Jeff rolled a 2. So it'll be a little time before we hear the results of Octus's search. Regis, Alessandro, Captain, Godwin, what do you guys do in the interim?
I want full security teams, and they all need to be thoroughly briefed. Because this what we're up against is diabolical and impossible to see. So they have to know what exactly they're looking for. The ship needs to be on alert that there's an intruder.
And Lady Ash says, and what Lord Captain, what information shall we give our security teams?
Watch for invisible people with frosty footsteps.
That's close. It seems reasonable. Where's medical?
The medic has treated you already, Lord Captain.
Oh, good. That's right. I'm feeling better now.
Between the hysterics and the melodrama, the medical has now departed, Captain.
Lady Ash steps closer to you, Lord Captain, and says, Lord Captain, I'd remind these creatures feed and grow powerful on panic.
What do you suggest, Lady Ash?
Stop panicking.
Did you say something, Godwin?
Yes, sir. Lord Captain, we could use your inspiration throughout the ship to ensure a lack of fear and inspire the crew.
Well,
I'll need you to, pull out the old Quinelli inspiration.
Lord Captain.
That is indeed part of my talent set. I'm glad you're recognizing it.
Yes.
If you think it best.
Lord Captain, what would you share with your crew? You are an imposing presence on your crew. What would this thing gain from striking at you in your room? Using one of your trusted servants, no less.
Assuming that killing the captain would obviously strike some form of terror, even in the best Aquade crew members.
And Lord Captain, would it not foster nearly an equal reaction? The crew are simple creatures. Do you think that their minds might not go to the conclusion that if this thing could reach our beloved Lord Captain, it could reach any of us?
It's a fair thought, though I defeated it in my own bed linens by bare hands. So there is that.
As he's waving
Lady
around
Ash.
his sword.
Yeah, I'm less waving now because I don't want to hit anyone. But but yeah. So there is that. But what's that, Regulus?
So like many of these creatures are the denizens of the war, it maybe feeds on emotion and fear.
My precise thought,
to provoke
Regius.
more.
If we share this attack on Lord Captain outside of the command crew,
It will create more fear and strengthen the creature.
All right. Even though I drove it off from a sound sleep, mind you. Very well.
she looks back at you. Curious that you awoke, Captain. Fortuitous timing.
You know, I sleep with one eye open, Lady Ash. Which is not far off from the truth, actually. From my talents, I will. My paranoid talent seems to imply something that said, "Yes, danger's a stench to me, Lady Ash. It's pungent."
Captain Aquari, when she mentions that, though, you will remember that is not what woke you up.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would even. I haven't quite gotten there. I'm still hollering.
Let's see here. Would you give us a... Let's see. Here we go. An evaluate check, please.
+0?
I think plus 20.
All right. Oh.
Critical failure. So Captain Aquari suffers a stroke. Remember Anthony Hopkins from Legends of the Fall? That will... No. I'm just double checking here. Oh, this is not what evaluate is used for at all. It's not the right one I was thinking of. Well, I thought there was an we found an equivalent of
Scrutiny?
Oh, scrutiny is the active one, awareness is the passive one. Right. So it should have been an awareness check. Why don't you give us an awareness check? You may be better at that. Plus 20, please. That was better. The distinction. Okay. So she seems to be implying something, but you have no idea what it is, and maybe you're just too upset and your mind goes to something else afterwards. What do the rest of you think? Or do, more importantly? Godwin, but you have a lore about ships or something like that. Well, no, you got a talent that allows you to use one of your skills to, like, check out the scuttlebutt in the ship, right? Or was that something from your Master of Whispers role?
No, it wasn't. I think it's just in the inquiry. That's what I've been looking at.
Okay. Hold on here.
Special use in inquiry is hunt for sedition.
Yeah, give us a check with that at plus 20, please.
Character may use his skills to inquiry among members of the crew to plume malcontents.
Yeah, just give us the roll, please. Plus 20. Let's see. You want to fate point that?
Yeah, I might as well. I haven't been using it yet.
This is the first time Captain's blown through all his before our mid-session break.
Those ambushes in the middle of the night are effective.
It's a heavy toll of fate. So, Godwin, what you have run, just because as Master of Whispers, you want to be certain of any potential threat, Holt has been serving the Aquari family for as long as he's been alive. Cabin boy up to, a servant, up to a steward. If there's anyone who would have had unimpeachable loyalty to the Aquares and to your Lord Captain, it's Holt. There's absolutely no doubt you have in your mind that there is some kind of malign influence over him that has caused this.
Right. And so it would be similar to the people that I come across. They've been influenced by an outside source.
Yeah.
I'll inform Captain Aquari and the crew, or the
How do you
head here.
phrase that to him?
I think you just assure the captain that Holt's been under my eye, and I've been watching him and anyone that's in close connection with, well, all of us. And I've seen no signs that Holt is a malcontent or a mutineer. Something has affected him in a way to completely change his behavior.
Yeah. Especially given the context of our current situation with other crew members. It fits.
Lady Gash nods as if acknowledging such is the way of these creatures.
Perhaps it's time to take our chances outside of the warp, Captain, and use your Aquari luck to make sure that we're not passing through an asteroid field or something then when we drop out of the warp.
Octus turns at this point and says, in his digitized kind of, through a subway speaker kind of way, Captain. Lord Captain. I gotta get used to that. Lord Captain. I have tracked the creature I believe.
Oh?
And
Where?
he hits a couple of things near the cogitators, and the machine spirits within kind of display something. And it's like a, 80s computer screen style, green display with a line showing sort of what we're looking at. Oh, hold on, let me move you over here first. What I'm looking at, and now what we're looking at. And what it shows is that this goes from your quarters down into the Scrappers district. And he seems to be able to track it down to a very specific location. Quarters, much further down.
Now, also, I know we said that due to the warp, being in the warp, it makes it harder to search. But I was looking, one of my skills does allow me, in theory, to track powerful warp creatures.
It does. It's not impossible for you to do it because you did do something like that before. It's just that the background count makes it more challenging to do that while you're in the warp.
So if we get to a location, maybe I can trace it from there.
You can even try from here.
Rather than do it. Well, I think it's more. I can't search, as you say, a 2 kilometers ship. But if we find a place where we know it's been at,
well, and that's the thing.
I can search.
Even from the bridge, because I think you're able to detect shit from like a ship to a ship, if I recall, because you were able to do that before when you were on one of the gun cutters. If Octus has told you where this disturbance is, you could certainly try and focus in on there.
Yeah.
And let's just take a quick peek. Now, do you have any talents or powers that change?
Yeah, I've got well, the specific power is called Gaze into the Abyss.
Okay. Oh, here it is. I just flipped to it. Huh. Allows you to see a creature or object's reflection in the warp, which is not hard to see in here. What level do you have it at?
I'm just novice.
Just novice, okay.
Which doesn't affect that power, just means it
Power
reduces my
can be
chance
used to
of
track
success.
powerful psychic C tracking on page 88. Okay. Oh ho. Have you any training in tracking? It is an advanced skill.
Well, I think this is you use it in the same way as
The senescence?
you use the rules about, you know, opposed rolls or whatever.
Yeah.
I just
Sworn skill made. All right. So would you give us then a senescence roll, please, at minus 20.
okay. Now, should I use this skill roll instead, right? Or
Which skill roll?
the gaze into the abyss?
That's not a skill. That's a power.
Oh, a power, but do I use the power skill rather than Psyniscience? Psyniscience is one skill, and Gaze into the Abyss is a...
Gaze in the Abyss shouldn't be a
psychic
separate
power.
skill. You don't have skills in them, right? You either have
but
the
it's-
power or you do not.
It's a power, yeah. So I've got a power which has a... it says I use a successful perception test.
Oh,
I mean, I'm happy to use Psyniscience. I'm much better at it. But
well, no, hold on. What's a perception test, though? Because there's no such skill as perception.
you use the characteristic roll.
Oh, okay, so you don't have the benefit of trade. Yeah, so give us a perception roll at minus 20 then.
Yep. Okay. This. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay, let me do this at minus 20. Ooh.
No fate point that?
Yeah, let's give that a fate point. Oh,
Okay.
sad.
So, well, what you are able to, if you can definitely detect the presence of this thing in, well, actually, it's an opposed chest, isn't it?
It can be if they're
Yeah.
trying to cover their tracks.
Yeah. So then you can pick it up in the captain's quarters. And you can follow the same. In your case, you are, through your third eye tracking this. But you are certain that this thing, like like some kind of coiled ice snake, this thing is lurking down in the Scrappers district. You can feel it there.
Ooh.
You're certain you can lead everyone directly to where it is. It's
Follow me.
because you also are able to detect some information about it. I'm just going to tell you how powerful it is. Let me see, because you get a sense of the corruption rating, it said, as well. There we go. It has the unmistakable acrid stink of the warp.
Feel the warp creature, Captain. Shall we head for it?
Oh, Captain, you may
Lady
be
Ash, you've-
muted. Oh, you're still muted, Captain. So, Timo?
Oh, yeah, Tamu. Yes, and since my steward isn't available, have someone bring my proper attire to that deck and meet us there. And I go bounding down my stairs. for my throne.
Okay. So let me check something here. Yeah, I think this will probably, to give you a sense of what you are going to be walking into. It is the Scrappers District, so it's probably quite spacious. This is not going to be a perfect copy, because I think this is more a hangar than the Scrappers deck, but just with how open this area is likely to be and how many kind of sub little areas there are. I'm falling right into the trap of copy of again, so I'm never going to be able to find these with the transmogrifier. Oh, this is actually probably better, I think. Here we go. Okay, let me bring you guys over here. You can tell us what you're going to bring down with you.
Well, that's kind of what Alessandro was going to mention. He was going to ask, is there any special weaponry or tools we should be bringing to this?
Lady Ash, Regius, would think you, since it's a warp creature.
Lady Ash says, you wish me to come, Captain?
Yes, of course. I'm not sure how effective our mundane weapons will be against it.
She nods, and her techno familiar kind of shakes as if it was alive. Who else? Regis is the one who is tracking.
Full security detachment, of course.
Okay.
Do we have any? I'm trying to remember. We went up against a warp creature somewhat recently. Did we have any thoughts? Was there anything? We didn't. I don't remember any breakthroughs there, but I'm just asking. Out of character, did we think, oh, we should have?
These things are, as unfortunately, because they are creatures of the warp and beings of chaos, they can vary a great deal. The things you faced.
We didn't have any, you know, even if it, let's just say we got lucky and we had a similar, I don't even know if there was anything before, even if it was similar. I don't recall any special insights we had, was there?
No. What Lady Ash had said before, though, is that these things are particularly, even the powerful ones are particularly vulnerable to psychics. Like herself, like Regis.
Okay, so the psychics are the most powerful and important.
The more powerful these things are, the less value that physical weapons will be against them.
No.
What else? I can't think of anything else.
Okay.
Full security and the two psychers and
how do you intend on
steeled hearts?
What I'm more interested in is how you intend on deploying them. Like, I get that you want to bring security with you because you want to be safe, but look at the area you're moving through. How do you intend on deploying them? Are they just going to be deployed around you in a shield, or are you sending them in to investigate where Regis has identified? You can assume if it's going to be an area like this, an industrial area with lots of nooks and crannies, but also relatively open in some other parts. How do you wish to approach this?
Perhaps when we get there, I don't know if it would help to have our psychers by the door.
Lady Ash asks, you know, as you're sort of commanding everyone and getting everything to you know, together, Captain, have you thought of what to do if this thing bewitches your guard.
What is your suggestion, Lady Ash?
The less guns and weapons we bring down with us, the less that can be potentially turned against you, Lord Captain. I am sure your house guard is strong in their loyalty to you. But from what Godwin has said, the same could have been said of your trusted steward.
I suppose. I was thinking that I would rather have it bewitch a guard than one of us, but it can be just us, I suppose.
I leave it to your discretion, Lord Captain. Regis?
Or just that the guards are disarmed. Or something less harmful.
If you are bringing unarmed men, what value are they?
We could leave them
something rather than us.
We could leave them outside the room, and if by chance we are attacked, are we certain that this area is empty of crew?
It's most definitely not. The Scrappers will have another crew of not necessarily that they answer to Octus, but it'll be similar types, and then running tons of servitors, labor servitors. This specific area, you could try and clear people out, but that might let it know that you are there, or that you know where it is.
Regius and Lady Ash, do you think you'll be better at locating it within the room, or no?
Regius is confident he knows precisely where it is right now.
Oh, all right.
Question is, how do we harm it?
Well, you, Regius, you. And I grin.
Using my antipathy and poor feelings towards it.
It's most effective on me. I would think it would.
I just use harsh language.
Maybe your third eye. It's time for its deployment.
It will not work on such a creature, Captain. It's a creature of the warp.
Lady Ash, do you have anything you think would work on it?
I'm a captain.
Well, we'll bring the security team in and leave them outside in case that a crew member is again bewitched and we are attacked mundanely by such a possessed crew member. The security can deal with it while we work on the creature and not have to be defend ourselves from the crew member attacking us with whatever it has, whatever he or she has. I was thinking about bringing perhaps some of our sharpest-eyed crew with us, unarmed, to help us spot perhaps.
Well, I just want to double check something, guys. I don't think I think your lidless eye will work on warp creatures. I don't see anything in it that says it doesn't. I'm just going to double check to make sure there isn't any.
Let me find it for you, because I was looking at it earlier. It's in the section after. You've got the main. Come on, where are you? I'm not wanting to talk down my eye at all, but come on, where are you? Oh, too big a book. Come on. Psychic techniques, navigators, 178. Okay, here we go. Avoiding a navigator's avoiding a navigator's gaze. You'll see it there on 180. It has no effect on unliving targets, untouchables, and demons or other entities from the warp.
Where does it say that?
Page 180, under avoiding a navigator's gaze.
Oh, at the bottom. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of odd because it looks like it's a different thing from the scope
Okay,
power, but it is
Yeah. No,
very
so
disappointing. But
yeah.
Yes.
You have anything else that is effective against?
nope.
Disappointing, particularly to your captain, but we'll let it slide this time.
So then,
if we cannot affect it,
Lady Ash has something that can affect it,
good.
but not annihilate it the way that the Lidless Eye may with living things.
This is something we should address later. Someone put it on the list. I'll look at one of my servitors. Put it on the list. You know, my skull, some skull trailing behind. For the next meeting. And
if we cannot annihilate it, is there a reason to confront it? Do we need to drop out of warp?
So what is our thinking of what happens if we drop out of warp exactly? Like, what happens to it exactly? Do we think?
Right now, it is trapped on the ship. If you do drop out of warp, what it might do, if you drop out of warp and then you harm it, that might be sufficient to have it retreat to the warp.
Because it can't escape because of our shields.
Yeah. Right now, the Gelder field is keeping it inside. Plus, there's plenty to eat in here, too. And see, thus far, nothing that has affected it.
So, Lady Ash, how effective do you feel you'd be against it? So you would be able to engage it, but probably not kill it. Is that what you were thinking?
I'm sorry, forgive me, say again?
That, Lady Ash, how effective do you think you'd be against it? Do you feel like you could engage it and harm it, but not kill it? Is that your...
I will give it my utmost, Captain. It will feel the sting of having tried to harm you, Lord Captain.
And the downside of dropping out of the warp is we get lost, right? That is the not knowing where we are, and therefore...
Let's take a look here. I actually don't know offhand.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at the Navis Primer.
Yeah, right. Navis Primer.
Okay, so here we go. There is one encounter you can get where you are sucked out of the warp effectively.
Okay.
The vessel counts as being severely off course, so figuring out where you are will be a bit challenging. And you won't have the benefit of the map any longer because you're off route, but not impossible. If you can perceive the Astronomicon, remember that's one of the early tests you make on it. If you can perceive it, then you're at a -20 to the warp navigation test, and then you can figure out where you are. If you fail the test, then let's see here.
Yeah, it is not good, Captain. It is not good.
We roll an inaccurate re-entry. Yeah. So this will actually come down to, I believe you detected the Astronomicon before we went into warp, so you've got that benefit still, Regius. So that means You can give us a navigation warp at -20.
Yep. Okay.
And then it'll be slightly off course as opposed to severely off course.
I think at this point in the discussion, Cornelia remembers what woke him up. He's going to bring it up. He says, I don't know if this will have any effect on what we're doing, but I am recalling now that prior to be beset upon by my trusted steward, I was having what I thought was a dream, but perhaps was a vision. And it was a...
If you close your eyes, Captain Aquare, you can see precisely what was looming before you. How would he describe that?
I think I have my arm outstretched as if I'm seeing it now. Say there was a greenish world with yellowy clouds. And there's this murmuring behind me. I whirl to see looming above me a titanic Xenos ship, Regius. Knowing your propensity for such things.
Captain Aquaria, what lores do you have? Any Xenos lore?
I do not. I rely on my staff for such things.
Okay. So carry on.
Oh, wait. No, you're correct. That is correct. I have Imperial Creed, Imperium, War, Rogue Traders, and Coronis Expanse.
Regius.
I think I might have some Xenos lore.
Right. The thing is that you're having to kind of ask. Here's what I'll allow is that both Regius and Godwin can give us. I think both of you guys are the ones with the Xenos lore. You can each give us a routine, or not a routine, a challenging lore. That's partly because you're having to go on a description that he's giving of this, and you want to be careful not to ask too many leading things to direct his. You know what? Actually, hold on. Let me get routine at +20, because Captain Aquari is many things. Easily directed, and with the nature and clarity of his vision, he would be able to tell you, like, no, I do not see this, I see this. So if you were to suggest things, like what I'm thinking, this is day job stuff thinking, but like, this is why you wouldn't say, like, well, does he have red hair? You would ask, well, what color is his hair? Right?
Right.
So each
So
of you
adding 20 to our score?
Yes, adding 20 to your score. Nice. Okay. So you're not sure. You could, I guess, you could fate point that if you wanted Godwin, but
No.
Regius
I think
is
he's...
yeah. So Regius, as he begins describing it, what in your mind he is describing, from the size, the colors, the shape of this thing, he is describing an Eldar craft world. One of the massive communities that the Eldar drift around in. The ancient, like things that date back to the creation of the Eye of Chaos. And it is the kind of thing where their navigation is, I think, between your profession and your personal interest, you certainly would have been aware of the webways, those secretive corridors through the warp that the Eldar are able to navigate. Unbelievably ancient, older than, your species is. This is a ancient community in space that your Lord Captain is describing. How would Regis describe that to, or identify it to the Lord Captain?
Lord Captain, you talk of the Xenos, called The Eldar. This is some creature related to the Eldar. There's maybe we have crossed one of their ancient pathways, and that is how it's crept in. I do not. It is not itself Eldar, but it is something that is leached off them, or that they have brought in, and it has a memory, perhaps, of the Eldar homeworld.
The thing is, Captain, you had a vision of this ship before. There was a previous translation into the warp where you had a similar vision drifting in space. You've also had other unusual things on the ship where you have found yourself in areas and doing things you don't recall. So when Regis suggests that, oh, maybe this thing it's mined. If so, then this thing has been on your ship for when you left Footfall, at least.
Oh.
Or
Interesting.
the source of Captain Aquare's visions are not this creature. What was the last thing you heard in your vision, Captain, before you were attacked?
So, well, Regius, what drew my attention to it was this maddening murmuring behind me. I whirled, seeing this titanic Xenos ship, or as you say, a home world. The sounds of murmuring was clearly coming from it. And somehow I could tell it was the meaning of its vile murmuring was home. Home. And that's when I woke up and was beset upon.
There was something you heard before that.
What was it?
Watch out.
Oh, watch out. Right. Yes. Yes.
Extraordinary, Captain. So could this be what you remember is actually some essence of an Eldar warning you? That this is some warp predator that I just don't know, Captain. It's confusing. It could be either.
You would know, Regis, that the Eldar themselves there are very powerful psychics that can come from mankind, but even the greatest among them would not equal a modest psychic in terms of their capacity and their ability. The Eldar are truly creatures born of the warp and with intrinsic connections to them. They have such a propensity for it that they're able to do things with that connection that humans could not fathom of. Except for, of course, the God Emperor.
I was just about to make a comment.
Heresy!
Security!
I present that in the most favorable way because of Regis's xenophilia.
Closet heretic.
Most definitely. You seem troubled, Alessandro.
Yes. This thing is very troubling.
Though, says Lady Ash, you say this thing awakened you? These reveries of yours?
I suppose. I mean, that's what I envisioned immediately before being beset upon by my own power sword.
And perhaps, Captain, there are ancient spirits here. Ones that seem interested in your survival.
The Aquari have many allies.
Including the Eldar, apparently.
You never know. My
Heretic!
great grandfather on my mother's mother's side.
So, that
Well-
seems you have that creature to. You have these visions, and somehow these visions protected you to a degree. What do you wish to do with your stowaway, though?
It seems best that we drop out. Do you disagree, Regius? Do we drop out of war?
It's not an appealing thought, Captain, but I don't see the options. We need to get this off the ship. And we never will without the Gala fields down.
Lady Ash's attack will be more effective if it has somewhere to go when she strikes it, rather than needing to vanquish it entirely.
Yes, we drive it out.
Alessandro
need
will
to
find where we are, along with you, Regius, when we drop out.
We'll do our best, sir.
Then we will need to rapidly put the shields back up.
Well, we'll
the crew
be-
on standby.
We'll be out of the warp, so we won't need it, right? The Geller.
We'll need it to stop it coming back board again.
Oh, getting back board again, I see.
And Captain, do we want to make preparations for this transition? I know that we were in a bit of a rush last time, and you had elected to not take the allotted time for a standard transition.
So
which,
the translation back from the warp to normal space is not like the reverse. Your checks for willpower and whatnot is going into the warp, not necessarily leaving it.
so we don't need to tell the crew that we're going to be jumping out of warp and going back into normal space abruptly?
No, there are rituals that are often performed to try and ward off any kind of ill effects, but I don't think.
So then we never mind. I thought we had to make preparations both directions.
No, you're absolutely right. What I'm looking at is see if it has a mechanical effect. Doesn't have a mechanical effect one way or the other when you're coming out of it. So, what do you guys wish to do then?
Well, sound the signal. We're going to drop out of warp. Be ready, Lady Ash. In fact, I'm going to, in the meantime, don some proper accoutrement from my staff that brought it down. Be ready. We will attack it forthwith as soon as we drop out and the Geller fields drop.
So then again, assume it's in a room where Regis is detecting it is just hidden somewhere in a room like what you're seeing here.
Yeah.
Who are you bringing in with you, and what is the plan once you translate out of the warp? Is it to rush in there and try and attack whatever is there?
I think so.
Well,
After I
Lady
change,
Ash.
of course.
Us and Lady Ash.
Yes. What does Lady Ash? How do we best approach this to drive this out of the hull of the ship? What do you need us to do?
I need only be.
And can the choir assist you? Can they strengthen you?
No. That will not be necessary. She need be within about 60 feet. And she will give it a sting it shall not forget. And you still may be able to affect this thing. Once she stings it with her psychic attack, it may manifest visually. It will still have the durability of a creature from the warp, and your weapons will be limited, or of limited value against it. It also is a powerful, if it can dominate those of blind loyalty to you, it is a powerful creature itself. Adding a physical sting to it along with my thoughts may be sufficient to cause it to seek food elsewhere. If it does not leave... Oh, you know what? Hold on. She actually might be able to... You know what? I'm going to double check. She might be able to dominate it.
Wow,
and force it to leave. I mean,
that could be valuable.
I mean, if she was able to dominate the mind of the captain, I mean, my goodness, what hope does a creature from the warp have?
We don't speak of that any longer.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. Yeah. I'm going to double check.
"'Tis true, Captain. She dominated you like a glove puppet. If she could do that to you, even a warp creature could do it. Be affected."
Big eyebrow at Regius. I don't know what your point is, Regius. I don't. I really don't. I'm changing. Right there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm having to look up. It's this game is from the era where they were so fond of putting traits. Everything has to have a little trait name, and it's found in a different fucking place.
Yeah, when you've got stuff scattered around various black books as well.
So this thing is unlike. So her psychic powers will not work on this thing. At least the one to dominate will not. To harm, it will. She'll be able to howl and cause a pain to this thing. But, yeah. If that causes it to manifest, then you can try and affect it physically. The thing is, if it was able to pass through the hull and remain unseen, what happens when it just moves elsewhere in the ship, or if it moves elsewhere in the ship?
Right.
So then we'll just have to keep harrying it to one end of the ship or other.
She is agreeable to that.
And why we need to be able to put the shields up quickly to prevent it coming back somewhere else.
Right, outside of the warp, won't it be easier for Regius and Lady Ash to be able to detect it again?
Way easier. Oh, most definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then we won't be this like blind searching all the time anymore. It'll just be like, let's go find it, smack it again,
and this thing is a powerful, it leaves a powerful footprint. It can try and hide as well, but no. Regis has been quite confident thus far in his ability to track. Okay, perfect. I wanted to double check something. Yeah, so she's 100% confident. While she cannot control its mind, she will be able to shake it sufficiently that it will not be able to go invisible. It will not be able to be insubstantial. Captain, do you wish to reintroduce this thing to your sword?
That would be delightful if it would have an effect. You can make it so.
I can make it so, Captain.
All right.
Will a bolter work on it if you make it physical? If it materializes?
I would think so.
It would.
All right, Captain. Just don't let it dominate my mind and put a gun to your head.
So that is... There is not... forgive me, I don't... There's not a... Oh, like... psychic shield ability, right? Like an ability to bolster your allies' defenses?
That would be kind of nice.
But there is, but I don't have it.
Yeah, it would be a good thing to have in a situation like this.
Heck yeah. Well, I'm wondering if she can... The trouble is her... she may have that ability because she's got most telepathic abilities. But there's a penalty when you're trying to manifest more than one power at once.
Hmm.
Here we go. Oh, come on, you. Apologies for those listening at home as well. Once again, it's been a month since we've played, and then we seem to always manage to find the set of rules we don't typically use for a session. There's a lot of material that's crammed into this very cool core book. Oh, here we go. Okay. Psychic powers. No, there's not really a defensive shield, at least not in the telepathic devotions.
Sounds like we need to play some Dark Sun.
So then... Yeah. Okay. So we best hope that she can sense it and affect it first. Then, any other things we need to know other than your the four of you and Lady Ash? Anyone else joining you in the in this assault?
Can't think of anyone else that would be useful.
Okay.
Have security outside in case it possesses a crew member. They can deal with the crew member while we focus on the creature.
Okay. Regius, would you give us a awareness check, please? This will be plus 10 on this, please.
Huh?
So, final thing is, you know how successful you were in perceiving from before, right? This is a contested roll, so like whoever comes out with the least failures in this. Are you concerned about a trap at all?
We weren't, but
It's just, I think it was something that, because of Regis's interest in Xenos things and whatnot, and his experience with this, he knows himself how tricky it was to focus his efforts to follow this thing.
I'm always surprised that I found it.
It could very well be, because it is a contested thing. It could be that this thing was overconfident and did not expect that it was going to be pursued. But...
Well, I don't think it'll be expecting us to drop out of warp and then try to attack it to get it out. I don't know that it could necessarily predict that change.
Now, that is actually something that's, while translating into the warp is disorienting for corporeal things of the corporeal realm, when you translate into the alien realm of the warp, it is disorienting for you. It could very well be that that's actually going to be the same in reverse when you suddenly translate from the warp back into normal space. So you may have something there, Captain, that this thing may be completely disoriented by suddenly being from its natural... I mean, it's not technically in its natural existence because the Geller field is sealing it, but it is still in the warp right now. To suddenly go out, it may suffer the same kind of adverse reaction that your kind experience. So if you time this correctly, you may very well catch this thing while it's, you know, as Alessandra would put it, eating cactuses.
Yeah.
Or as I would put it right now, wearing its bedrobe.
I might need some more water for this fight.
Regis, have you enough concern to put off the assault, or do you hope that by suddenly translating back to real space, you would get the drop on this entity?
Well, Captain, there is this risk of a trap, but I'm not sure what our alternatives are. That we just keep flying and we keep voyaging and hope for the best. It seems if it can even reach you, then it can reach any of us. So while we may be going into a trap, what do we do else?
Yes. Someone is at my door, so you carry on, and I'll be right back.
We're going to take our mid-session break right now.
Okay.
That way you can, so
there we go.
for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes. All right. Well, okay. I wasn't sure if I was back on or not. All right, let me find what terrifying illustration did I load for this thing. Oh, I have a skull servitor on here. There you go, guys. Captain can bring his skull servitor with him.
Oh, goodness.
There you go, Captain. I found your skull servitor for you.
Nice. Excellent.
Okay. So tell me how you guys... Are you planning on making your way down to where this thing is nested, then giving the message to translate back into normal space, and then going in?
I think that's about
Go
it.
ahead.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to change and then be ready outside the room.
Get to leisure wear first.
Yes.
I want something I can move in, you know? Murdering clothes.
And with some armor. I'm going to... then we'll wait
Okay.
for dropping out of space
then-
and the Geller shield dropping.
Godwin, would you give us an inquiry check, please? We'll give you plus 10 on this. Oh, and everyone gets fate point, by the way. Unless you're at your maximum. Alessander.
I didn't really roll anything except for
Yeah.
random two last time. I'll need them, Kev. I'll need them.
I have full faith. Okay. Ooh, where are we here? So, Alessander, the thing you're thinking of as you're planning this, let's go back to the thing and remember how big this frickin' ship is. You're passing through about, what, a tenth of the ship to get to the Scrapper District. So that means you're going into an area where this thing is located. Assuming that this thing is the source of whatever has gone on in the other areas, are you concerned about any influence it might have over the people who occupy that area?
Part of that concern was why security would be outside in case someone gets...
What I'm talking about is
Possessed.
getting there, though. This is a huge ship. There are not transporters. You're going to have to hoof it in order to get down there. To do so, you're going to need to pass through most of the Scrappers District. And the last time that Godwin went into an area, he was attacked by how many people?
Well, I guess that's why we have our security detachment, for one thing. I'm not sure what else we can do about it. Who else has any
I mean,
thoughts?
if you're planning on shooting your way, if it does have Confederates down there and it gets into a shooting fight, what's to prevent it from going elsewhere? Oh, you're muted, Dave. So, Timon.
Do we have any way of like containing it so that it doesn't disappear or doesn't go elsewhere? Or is it more attack it and force it and hope it leaves?
Well, and it's not to say that the Scrappers District it has necessarily been compromised. You don't, unless Regis did have a experience when he went searching through the Scrappers District, didn't he?
Yes, they were all a bit Stepford wives. Weird. They were staring at me strangely.
Hmm.
That's some kind of taint, perhaps.
So, what you say, Captain, is absolutely true. You have boarding parties that are trained on here. Your guard is not necessarily the ones you want, but the boarding parties, the kind of, rogue trader house marines, they certainly could shoot their way down there, and the scrappers will not have a lot of resistance for it. But what it'll do is it'll alert whatever is down there. If you tried to come at it from a indirect way, or if you tried to be stealthy, then you may not trigger everyone who is there. Or if you want to do something else to move the people from the Scrappers district in order to clear the way for yourself. What Godwin's role was for was just to tweak you to the fact that it has had Confederates before. Godwin, did you encounter that entity when you faced those poisoners?
Not the entity itself. I don't think I was aware of the entity, but I was aware that it could turn people's minds. And, that guy I chased down the hallway and ended up taking out was converted. So I don't know if you can a day off in the Scrappers district, everybody can go home for the next 5 hours.
Like, there are ways to minimize the opportunities that it would have to see you, but what I'm going to do is, if whatever approach you have to going down, there may be things that happen on the way down. So that's
Okay.
So, how do you guys want to approach this?
Captain, let's clear the area. Send a command to, I don't know. Sean's not moving on my screen, so I don't know.
Yeah,
He's
Sean's
still
moving.
He's thinking.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe we send a command down through the ranks to clear people out, but not a broadcast. We don't want to alert this creature.
Yeah, if we can clear the area without alerting it, that would be optimal.
How would you guys like to do that?
I mean, is there such a thing as maintenance? Some kind of maintenance excuse?
Or if we tell everybody to return to their headquarters.
But what would be
then,
the reasoning that wouldn't alert the?
Well, it's not.
Well, the thing is, it wouldn't mean that we were just talking about the Scrappers district. So we would feel that all of the
whole ship.
Yep.
Well, that might cause a lot of chaos, though. Get 20,000 people suddenly, maybe a third of them are on duty at the time, and they gotta all move at the same time. That could be chaos.
It would have to be a really impressive command roll in order to properly motivate the crew in order to do that.
And that we're thinking that wouldn't alert the creature. Like that would be, it would clear the area, but.
Well, I'm just guessing. It means its creature wouldn't notice that it was just the Scrappers district. It can probably detect the whole ship, so it would notice that all the areas are being emptied, not just its.
Okay.
Right, but we don't. Okay.
You're just a thought.
Yeah. Just send a command to the head people, the head person who manages Scrappers District. Have him talk to his lieutenants and so forth, and filter it down. We don't need to make a blast. And while this is happening, while this trickle down is happening, we can head there, and people will be leaving when we get there.
All right.
No?
That sounds fine.
Perhaps.
I will alert the section chiefs call them individually, and tell them well, and maybe even we could, there's not a big rush. There's not a huge rush here. Maybe we have them stepped a bit by 5 minutes apiece or 10 minutes apiece to maybe reduce chaos and increase efficiency a wee bit. And tell the section chiefs to send their people that are on duty back to their cabins for the until otherwise notified. Does that seem like the idea, everyone?
Yep.
So I'm clear with what the plan is. You are giving instructions only to the Scrapper District for everyone to go back to their quarters.
No, this would be the whole ship, I think, was the notion, so that the creature doesn't know. If we only did it in the Scrapper, the problem is, that we're thinking if the creature might detect that we are sending everyone home in the Scrapper District, which tells it that we know where it is. Whereas if we send everyone home in the ship, it doesn't actually know that we know it's in the Scrapper.
Isn't that even a bigger sign, though? When does the entire ship all go to quarters? Like, never.
Well,
it'll figure
idea,
something's up, but
yeah, the idea is it'll definitely know something's up. It just won't necessarily know we know where it is. Whereas if we clear the Scrapper, it'll say, "Uh-oh," they're only clearing where I am. They know where I am. That's why the whole ship. That's the notion behind the whole ship.
Okay, no, that's fair.
We're going to have to make a few exceptions, though, because whatever crew is necessary for dropping out of warp, so that those exceptions would be made.
Well, and the person responsible for cleaning up your quarters, obviously.
Well, I don't even need to go into that. My area is not.
You are essential personnel, Mr. Replacement Steward.
And whoever's cleaning that nightgown, that they need to continue working.
The seamstress is like, thank God, finally oh God, fucking damn it! All right,
that's my only one. I love that one. It's what I sleep in best.
Nice. Then, would I be right to think a guard contingent of about 12 guards?
12 seems adequate.
Okay.
Our Xenos fighting section. No, just our warp fighting section. That's the one I want. Yeah, a dozen sounds good.
Okay.
And
all right. So then, Captain, do you wish to make the announcement in order to avoid panic and any kind of doubt? You have heard that things have been a little uncertain.
It seems right and proper.
Okay. Would you kindly give us, wait for it,
going on too,
a command check, please?
+0?
I'll give you +10. This is your crew.
All right. All right. All right.
It's a success. What is it that you tell everyone? What do they hear from this would be our montage where we're seeing people look up from all these different places in the crew or in the ship. In fact, to give you guys a taste of it, I did load a few images here. So of course there's the Scrapper's Yard, right?
Nice.
So people are looking up from that.
I will say
from the hangar. From the chapels.
Nice.
It's blurry for me for some reason. Oh, there we go.
Cool.
It's a little messy.
From the dispensaries.
Nice.
From the corridors. All over the ship.
Oh.
They'll stop and look up and listen to your words, Captain.
This is your Lord Captain Cornelia Quade. There is a You have heard there is some difficulty in maintenance with the ship. That is in regards to ever since we've entered the warp. We're going to be making a search throughout the ship through any malfunctions. And I am told from the astute section chiefs that this is most easiest done if you're not there. So this is going to be temporary, but we need everyone to clear the decks as we make appropriate maintenance check at this time. Would appreciate if you would proceed to your cabins until further notice, and we'll get this tracked down. Thank you. It's your Lord Captain.
And do you end with
Aquade, and I give some like.
And you hear
chest
from
beatings.
everywhere on the ship, every one of those locations we saw, Aquade!
Perfect.
Then you guys make your way down. Are you intending on being sneaky at all, or are you walking around like you own the place?
I guess. I suppose it makes
Technically,
sense.
you do.
Well, I appreciate you, Regius. I feel like we're on a. I feel like you're pandering, but I appreciate it.
I appreciate a good pander.
Good doubt.
It's rare, so enjoy it.
It's like a pander skill. Yes, I suppose we should. We probably shouldn't draw undue attention.
So then, Captain, would you give us a percentile roll, please? Sorry, Lord Captain.
Indeed.
Okay.
Oh, very nice.
So in one of the larger freight elevators, you all kind of pile in there, the 5 of you, including Lady Ash, the 12 soldiers behind, opens up on the scrapper deck, which is actually quite quiet because all the machines and whatnot. I think the servitors are still moving and still going, so you still hear the noise. If you think of any film that happens to like include a scene where they're in a foundry or, you know, like a scrapyard, that's, or like a shipyard or something like that, that's what the ambient noise would be here. It's fucking noisy. But you guys are moving along, seeming to be no different than any last crew. We maybe see, you know, one crew member go racing by late back to his quarters to follow the captain's authority. Makes no notice of you guys as you make your way down. Where you can picture yourself is in one of the larger yards that will enter into one of the smaller fabrication and hab units. Very similar to what you see before you're here. We are here. How do you guys wish to handle the translation?
We get near the door of the section of the room, I believe.
Okay. Regius, being that you are the Navigator Primaris, would you kindly give us a navigation warp at -20? Please.
Anyone worried?
Slightly.
Gonna have to use the manual version, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oof.
A fate point that?
I will fate point that.
All right, then. Would you give us a 1D 100 plus 40 plus 40?
Now you know I'm gonna roll 99.
Oh,
Oh no.
This is actually randomly determined location within the same region.
Woo.
Oh,
So this is the first part of your test, so it will be somewhere near where that that planet was. We'll figure out where it is. It is not somewhere catastrophic. You are not stuck in the warp, which is good. But we'll figure out where they are after. Everyone click on your token, please, and go ahead and click on initiative.
Not sure this is good.
Okay, now I was trying to find. Excuse me. I feel like. Okay, it's after this. Okay, how are we looking here? There we go. All right. Then, huh. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, as you guys are getting ready, you can feel that lurch that leads from translating. Leads you to translate from the warp into real space. Captain, unsurprisingly, you were first up. You were outside. What would you like to do?
And what? And sorry, what did you just said that we? What's our status?
You can feel it in your gut that you've just translated back into a real space from the warp. This thing, if it is going to be disoriented, it should be now.
I will meet eyes with my party and step into the room.
Okay, so you have to use a half action to activate the kind of door.
Okay.
Okay, and then you'll step into the room. Regis.
Follow it. Follow the captain in.
Okay.
My hell pistol in hand.
Would you give us an awareness check, please? Actually, you can... because you still have an action, potentially. You can hear coughing in a disgusting manner at the far end of the room.
Ew.
get it.
You still have a half action if you like.
I will snap off a shot, I guess.
Go right ahead.
Single attack. Not that I'm great. No aim. Correct. What range would it be at?
This would be
Short, I
at... this thing is probably 10 meters away at most.
Ooh, I think that's all right. Okay, that's short range then.
Okay.
Okay,
No. Yeah, because
Single
point
shot.
blank is like...
it's arm's length.
Yeah.
Sort of. Oh,
You want to fate point that?
yeah, why not? Let's.
Okay.
No, sorry. So many clicks. Oh!
Solid hit. Go ahead and roll damage. Which means I need to admit that this thing has AP 7. That's sweet. However, even with that AP 7, scorches this thing. Did I set this up proper? Oh, look at that, guys. Holy smokes. Kev, from however many months ago I set this thing up, tokens are displaying properly. Well, attaboy. You are certain you hit this thing along the leg, scours it. There's a flash of power. Does not seem to get through whatever passes for its skin. Alessander.
God.
Now, hold on. I think everyone other than Godwin is immune to fear?
I
I think everyone has a
whatever it's
talent that
called.
makes them immune, or a trait that makes them immune, except for, I think Godwin was the only one. Yeah, you're jaded. I think Regis is jaded.
Yeah, I'm jaded.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Okay. So then, Godwin, would you give us a willpower check, please, now that you can see this thing?
Okay.
At minus 10.
Okay, well, Godwin has a +10 when making tests to resist fear. Is that
Nice. So give us a willpower check then, please.
straight up?
Come on, Godwin. Don't make me
No.
look up the fear rules.
Yeah.
Hey, it's okay. I've just carried my bolter.
Success. Outstanding. All right, so Godwin, you are ready. So sorry, Alessandro, what are you doing?
Even though it seemed that Regius' shot did not have much effect on it, my reaction is still to fire on this thing.
Nice. Go right ahead. What's the range
I
of your
can do a
weapon?
half. Oh shit! Actually, hold on. Cancel. Maybe.
We also
35 meters. 35 meters.
35. Okay, so that's a short range for you. Then I think before, because I realized in Wrath and Glory they've got. I was comparing kind of what everyone's weapons are. The weapon you use, hand cannon,
Yeah,
is dog shit. You need a replacement weapon.
I absolutely have known this forever, but we have never been to a store to buy a better gun. He's just got a total piece of junk.
Yeah.
The captain has been quietly judging him for that for this whole time.
That was a
he's
solid
not-
hit. This thing is still fucked up from the translation, so it's not able to react. Go ahead and roll damage.
Oh wow.
Come on, big money.
I don't think it can do big money, Kev.
That's 10, but it's AP only 2. So, unfortunately, likewise, you might as well be shooting the armored hull of the Mortis Probati itself. Godwin,
That's kind of what I figured.
what are you
Well,
doing?
Godwin was actually thought we were holding until Lady Ash did something because she was going to give it a, psychic something or
whammy?
other to like make it vulnerable. I thought so. He's holding his shot until Lady Ash does her thing.
Okay. Then I'll put you after Lady Ash in the initiative order. Regius, would you kindly give us a percentile roll, please?
I would like to put my exceptional leader towards her if I can.
Excellent.
If she's going
Yeah. I'll play it. Absolutely. That's awesome. Oh! So she steps forward, her eyes blaze with bluish power, and she screams, and all of you can feel just a slight ringing in your ear as the telepathic howl that comes from her mind slams into this thing. You can hear it as if you were just on the edge of this, like the sound of a telepathic gunshot. This thing twitches back, and it seems that her psychic blow has struck true. Godwin, what would you like to do?
Well, that to me is a sign that the lock bolt gun is about to be fired. So
Confined area too. I can't wait for
confined area.
Love
Yeah. So are we all kind of just like hovered around the door and like bum 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 bum?
I think
Everyone's
so.
moving a little ways in and is beginning to blaze away on this thing, it seems.
Okay, then I'll do that. So that's probably only a semi-auto or single shot, probably.
If you're having to
Moving.
move, that's a half move, which means you need to make a single shot. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And you can't aim.
No aim, short range,
Short range, yeah.
single shot, modifiers. I'm awesome. Oh, 96. We're going to say that's not happening, and I'm going to reroll.
I did love the I'm awesome when that red shows up.
That's
He shoots the
exactly-
lights out.
Roll 20, heard
exactly
you
how that
talking.
works. Well, 20 is like, oh, you're talking smack, huh? Here, I'll show you.
There
Oh,
you
think
go.
you got this, eh?
Go ahead, roll damage.
Ba, ba, ba.
9. So it's 9, 13 total. You see
so
Icker.
Lady
come
Ash
out.
did have an effect.
Okay, then, Captain. Seems your crew has begun. You're not going to be able to command. I mean, I'm not going to penalize you your ability, but you're not going to be able to talk to anyone here while this fucking bolt gun is going off in this area. What are you doing?
Let's see. And how far away did you say, Kevin?
About 10 meters.
10 meters. I think that is. Our movements are in. Are they in meters? They're in meters, right? Or no, that's too far.
Just remember, if you charge in, you're going to make it a lot harder for everyone else to hit then. Remember that being in melee, it makes it harder for everybody else to hit then.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the captain, but...
We can hit you.
Or we just go for it and
Captain he bravely fell facing the creature, who somehow managed to shoot him in the back with a bolt gun. Crafty chaos creature.
6 times.
When they brought all my stuff, they I mean, I have all my equipment then.
Absolutely.
Since I had them.
I'm assuming you drew all your weaponry before you went in too.
Yeah. So I'll fire with my bolt pistol.
Your bolt pistol or your plasma pistol?
I have a bolt because the plasma is so low on. I guess
You're back on your ship. You would have reloaded.
Yeah, did you not reload it?
Yeah, you're back on your
Well,
ship.
that's assuming. Okay, as long as I've got plenty of. I didn't know if I had plenty of supplies.
No, you're going door to door. Anybody got any plasma? No. How about you guys? No.
Hey,
No?
I'm trying not to assume. So the captain would assume. Sean's trying not to assume. That's the captain was.
No, and I think I got to double check. I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure that's like whatever you're purchasing for carrying around with your own personal shit. That's just your standard gear, and that would refresh every time you get a chance to get back to your ship.
Very good. Well, then definitely the plasma.
I could be wrong about that. I think if you actually lose your weapon or you lose your thing, then you do need to reacquire. You need to make that acquiring roll again.
Gotcha.
But
It seems a bit odd that the rogue trader can't afford ammo for his pistol.
2 kilometers of ship and there's not a single fucking second round clip on here.
Yeah, no,
Right.
no.
You gotta understand, man. I've mortgaged this thing to the tits. I can't fucking afford anything right now. You're shit poor.
And I will have no heckling of me either. By God. So I with the plasma pistol in hand, I switch it to maximal mode, which I think is a free action. Pretty sure. Yep. Free action.
Again, you would probably you would have had time to think about this shit before you went in.
Yeah.
So if you were going to turn this thing way the fuck up.
Yep. And I'm going to fire my auto.
Okay. Yeah, you did move in last time, so yeah, you're free to do a full action shooting if you like.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go. So that's the idea. So
you know what weapon is also awesome in both Wrath and Glory and Imperium Maledictum? Plasma pistol.
Plasma.
You know it's dog shit in both games?
Hand cannon.
Hand cannon.
This is short. Let's see. The range is 40 meters. Is it short range?
Short range, then. Yeah.
All right. Semi-auto.
There we go.
Oh, I am going to fate point
Fate
that.
point that. You go right ahead.
Yes. Here we go.
You mean you don't want to get bit by that thing? Come on.
I do not.
Look at that.
Let's see here. Semi-auto. There we go.
There you go. Go ahead and roll damage.
All right then.
Make
So
a,
let's see.
semi-auto, you hit twice then.
Okay.
So go ahead
let's
and
see
roll a hit
here.
with 2 weapons.
Let's see. Not okay.
Or 2 shots. 2 weapons.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess I
Outgunned
just
has a really neat set of rules for when you're using 2 guns. That's that action
Nice.
RPG or action film RPG I was talking about earlier. Go ahead and roll damage. Yeah,
Nice.
with two times you hit.
Okay, so the first is a leg. It's asking
I think you
me
can roll
questions here.
both. I think you don't roll hit location for both. It translates over depending on how many times you hit. So
Yep,
just roll.
all right.
There should be an option on the sheet that you can enter that you hit twice. It'll roll 2 damage for it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you roll damage, it'll last twice. How many hits?
Yeah, so you don't need to do that. I've got it on the character sheet that'll do that. You just need to roll damage for 2.
Okay.
On the GM screen, it shows where it progressively hits.
There you go.
There you go. All right, so that first one, there's that, and that second one, 28. Look at this, guys. I think Captain's angry. So
This just intense, like, brightness of the sun comes.
yeah, wow. Regis, you're up next. What are you doing?
Semi-auto with my hell pistol.
Please do.
Let's give it.
Come on.
Wow, the captain really hit that.
Yeah. Oh, in fact, Captain, you may have needed to roll for Regis Fury. Because you roll a 10 on one of those.
Great call.
Yep.
Good catch.
I have my moments. I don't know, fuck all of the psychic rules or the tracking rules, but Regis Fury, I can remember one thing. Was that against the same difficulty?
Yeah. Let's see here.
Because I think that did not include the penalty for semi-auto.
So it was a fail. No righteous.
Okay, no Regis Fury. That's good. Captain, okay, yeah. Regis, that is a hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Yeah, that's 1 hit, right? Because it's for every 2 after that. In fact, sorry, I'm forgetting the rule myself.
I think we've been rounding up with each one. At least that's how I've been interpreting it for you guys and for your enemies. So that's 2 hits. Go ahead and roll.
2 hits.
Come on.
Let's go. Come on, boys.
Come on. Big money, big money.
Oh! Yeah.
That first one zorches through this thing, and it vanishes as it twists in on itself and is consumed by the warp. With your senses, Regis, you would see that as well. Captain Aquari, would you give us a command check to get that shield, get those Gellerfields back up?
Right. +0?
+0, please, yeah.
Oh, so close. So close.
All right, so then you're trying to get through, and it does not seem that it is.
I'm banging one of those cones, that you speak into. I'm banging it on the wall.
Hello, engine room. There's
Right.
an empty chair on the other end. No, hold on. Okay, let me roll for. I mean, you sent this thing to the warp, so I don't think it can. Okay. So there is a brief delay, and then you hear through from the Vox unit, the field is active, and it's probably that digitized voice from Octus. The field is active, Captain.
Excellent. Regius, see what you can detect. Lady Ash, see what you think happened.
Regis, why don't you give us a either a perception at +30 or a sight essence at +30? Your choice.
They're the same, I think. So let's go for Sign Essence.
Oh, yeah. It is gone. And you do a tip to stem to stern check of the ship. No trace of chaos corruption that you could find.
Yes. Captain, we're rid of it.
At least no different than normal for the Mortis Probati. There's always little bits of this that are like, okay, I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah.
It was part of the Space Hulk. So
I think I can't help myself, and I, flip on the all ships comms, and we found the error. And I bang my chest and I say, Aqua!
Use another command check at +10.
All right. There we go.
Nice. You can add 4 morale back to the ship, up to its maximum.
Nice.
So everyone have. Now it's a matter of figuring out where the hell you are.
That's why we need fate points.
Yeah. All right. So then, with this thing expelled, the deaths on the ship will cease. Let's bring you guys back to the bridge. Oh, was it down that far? Holy smokes.
It was at 92, yeah? 92.
Wow. Okay. So then, where's my Navis primer? Here we go. Oh, I need to... Actually, this is not where I wanted to go. I wanted us to go to Cronus Expanse. Let's figure out where the heck you guys are right now. All right. So Footfall's where you were. I thought you guys went to Winterscale's realm for this planet, didn't you? Let's see here. So the Magoros system is where you... Oh, no, it's way down here in the Foundling Worlds. I think someone didn't follow the art order. Because it says in the adventure that it's in Winterscale's realm, but it's down here. Magoros system.
I think, you know what? I think we... this rings a bell. Like, this came up before. Like, we're like, what? Like, something... Yeah.
That's what happens. Someone doesn't follow the art order.
You know what? It's part of the warp. It's a warp thing.
Oh, yeah, totally. It's chaos. Chaos is always to blame.
Chaos.
So Winterscale's realm is... Let me double check. Maybe... no, because the chapter is called Into Winter's Heart. Yeah. All right, so then it is up here where you guys are. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Regius, would you give us a D8 roll, please? Okay. So let me find something here. Yeah, I totally agree. Tempest of Scorn. The names in this and in fantasy are just fucking awesome.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so you have translated back into real space. Captain Aquare, because I think this is a new skill for you, would you give us a Lore Coronis Expanse roll?
Right.
And this will be at plus 10.
Okay.
Make it plus 20.
Okay. Let's see.
See if you know where. I think those are the ones that don't work on the firefighters. Oh, look at that, though. So you, we can picture that you guys all burst back onto the bridge. And Captain Aquare, you insist, you know, that one of the assistant navigators, or perhaps whoever is operating the Auspex sensors, to bring up a system for where you are. And there's something that comes up, and you study it for a moment, and then you recognize it. Turns out you've been studying in your off hours to know some of the places that will soon be within your domain. This system is known as the Agarian Dominion. The Agarian Dominion was once a populous Xenos domain that spanned a handful of close stars. Many millennia past, the alien civilization that dwelt in the domain fell victim to a nameless doom that left only empty, desolate worlds and crumbling structures in its wake. The principal worlds of the Dominion are dry, cool desert planets covered by tightly packed structures that form a vast maze in 3 dimensions, walls and corners hundreds of meters high and extending in belts for thousands of kilometers across the desert plains. These claustrophobic Xenos complexes are buried by windblown sand and dry soil, their borders ragged cliffs that mark the edge of lowland deserts. Agarian building materials glisten with rainbow light as though oily, even as they crack and crumble with age. They somehow channel the light of Agarian stars, and even the deepest regions of the Xenos hives are lit with a disturbing, shifting glow. The passageways are cramped for humans, and the hive mazes are empty, as though the Xenos and almost all of their works simply vanished overnight. The only sound is the moaning of the wind as it blows through enclosed maze spaces and across desert outcrops. You are in a system long dead, but not far off from your point of origin. So, you mentioned the Agarian Dominion. Now, Regis, what maps do you have thus far?
Crack those open. I have Through the Moor, Footfall to Jerizol, and Footfall to Magoros.
Okay. So this is a system that you have yet to travel from. Now that you guys are back in real space and you've put the Geller field up, there are no damages that need to be repaired in the ship necessarily. But what do you wish to do? Prepare and translate back into the warp?
Now, I've got a new talent. I've got a new psychic power.
Let's see.
Which may be of interest. It is called Tracks in the Stars. So when a ship travels through either real space or the warp, it leaves a faint trail, the lingering shadow of its warp drive. Using my third eye, the navigator can follow this trail. So that means I can trap a ship in real space as if it was using tracking skill.
Oh, okay.
And if it's around, so long as the trace is less than 5 weeks old. So it will at least tell us if there is any traffic here. I'm not sure we'll follow it, but
is
this an abandoned system? Or
sure. Why don't you give us a Roll. So a perception. Is there any modifier you get to it?
No, unless there's something particularly large or small, I think.
No factors one way or the other in this. That's a cool skill, though. Or a power.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Nice, right in the nose.
Yeah, the next one gets better. I could track in the warp as well.
Oh, nice. So, as far as you could tell, nothing.
Captain.
This is a dead system.
Genuinely seems abandoned.
All right. Well, it's good to know we weren't lied to. Ha ha ha. All right. Well, is there anything? One thing I can think of is, do we need to take a breather here for any reason? Does anyone know of for the crew or?
You're still
else?
pretty banged up.
I am. It's true. Where we remind me. Remind me, my bridge crew. Where are we going, and why are we going there? We're going to
Lord Captain head injury. What are we doing? What was my name? Oh yeah.
We were headed to where? We were headed to
I believe you guys were heading back to Footfall.
Yeah.
Right. Footfall, we're gonna do some shopping.
And you will, Regius was going to be plumbing the depths of that massive, the Aquila Nemolith. There's a lot of information to be drawn from that thing.
Well, we're essentially heading for a bit of a break.
By a new hand cannon.
Yeah, we're all going to pitch in. We passed a hat for Alessander to...
Yeah, we're gonna get him
Finally upgrade.
the 2.0 version.
I think the reason, honestly, the reason might have been because of one of his background things. Because there's something that I know in at least in Wrath and Glory, like one of the reasons that people take that is because if they happen to come from a more primitive world or something like that, they're just more familiar with it. So, yeah, and I know you came from a death world, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So then, do you wish to take a day or two, Captain Aquare, for yourself and for your steward to recover? Do you wish to check on Holt as well?
Yeah. I had that thought before. I didn't quite get there, that after the victory, my mood had changed to such an extent that I even checked on Holt to see how he was faring.
So he would be in the Medica bay as well. I mean, you gave him a good pummeling, but you were, as far as things go, quite gentle.
Yeah,
he's also under guard, though. He's under lock.
He is
lock and key at medical.
He is indeed. I think it's time to. I'll probably deal with that now. Stop by Medicaid for.
Okay.
You know, whether I need a check and to see him and to deal with that whole situation.
Yeah. So if you are there to, I mean, the Medicus Bay is large enough, so if you do not wish to see him, you certainly could do that. But if you are going to check up on him before or at the same time you're getting treatment, where is he here?
Yes. No, I'm not going to avoid him. I'm going to meet it head on and deal with the situation.
Yeah. Hello, I'm old. Okay. So he is in bed, and when he sees you, there is a look of anguish that goes across his face. And I think he moves, and the guards kind of like rattle their armor to startle him into remaining in place. And he says, "Lord Captain, they told me what I did. It was a betrayal of unforgivable nature."
Yes, only a great captain could forgive such a thing, depending on the circumstances. Holt, what do you remember, man? What do you remember?
I remember arranging and preparing for the start of your next day. And then nothing else. I awoke in here. The such dreams I've had, Captain. Something was in my mind.
Yes, it was.
Oh, I can still hear it, sir. Slithering when it was in there. Lady Ash was by.
Oh, what did she have to say?
She wished to check to see if there was lingering influence. These things. She says they can lay seeds in your mind.
And what was her determination?
That I am free of any such infection. But, sir, the betrayal. I should have been stronger. My faith in the God Emperor. The Emperor of Man. If my faith was true, he would have protected me. I am sorry, Lord Captain.
It's all right. I was a little disappointed in your poor swordplay, too, although I benefited from it. Listen, Holt. You've been with me a long time, and I am aware that you weren't yourself. I'll put my hand on his shoulder, clap it, give him the old shoulder clap.
Yeah.
And say, it's all right. It was circumstantial. It's part of the challenges we go through out in this wilderness, out outside the Imperium. We'll all be stronger for it. I know you'll, I know you didn't mean to. I would like you to improve your combat, though, just in case you have to defend me, because you were horrible, sir. And I give him another clap and a wink, a little humor, a little...
Yeah. You've known him, I imagine, for most of your life, so he... Of course, Captain. I will arrange for tutelage in fencing.
Indeed. How are you doing? What does the surgeon say?
The surgeon, they have said that you gave me a right thrashing, Lord Captain. But I will recover. I can resume my duties today, in fact. And he looks at the guards, subject to my release from custody, of course.
Yes. And I give them the nod that they can go.
So they unlock his whatever cuffs or binders that are keeping him on there. He gets up and he says, I can't imagine what state that your quarters were left in, Captain. I will see to it immediately.
And my beddings, my onesie, if you would attend to my aquade, my favorite aquade accoutrement.
I was able to damage your clothing.
Well, I was bruised minorly, mind you, so I'm not sure, but let's make sure it's in good shape for the evening.
Then perhaps the fencing master at least has clay to work with, as far as my skill is concerned.
Perhaps. I should have been cut to shreds, really, but perhaps.
Well, and he waits until the guards are, standing back, and he says, with their assistance, Lord Captain, we'll ensure that you do not wake next time. And they all kind of rattle their armor, and he's just waiting to see if you laugh or not.
He got me a little. I'm like, oh, Holt, and good to see you're back. And I give him a overly hard clap against the chest.
Okay.
And see you tonight.
I will. Thank you, Lord Captain. Your generosity and forgiveness. Your father had a similar bigness of heart. Thank you. And he will take his leave and head back to work. The guards, I guess, are dismissed.
Yeah, and I'll check in with if it's with the church and whatever. a little bit of just because I'm wounded. Not that that means anything maybe at the moment, but
no. That what it means is that they can offer you long-term care, so you'll be able to recover that faster. I was looking at that before. Medicus
requires bed rest and less chest thumping.
Fat chance.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Treat number equal to.
Lord Captain, it seems your injuries are bruised ribs on the mostly from doing this a lot. And,
repetitive stress injuries.
Repetitive stress injury to your sternum.
So unfortunately, it's going to take, because of just how badly he fucked you up, it's like a week before you start recovering.
Yeah, I was thinking that might be the case.
So, because we've been letting you spend fate points to turn him back in between sessions, that's where we've kind of short-circuited some of the healing. Yeah, but I mean,
but I stop in nonetheless for narrative, for narrative purposes.
Absolutely. When it'll be weeks of travel in the warp in all likelihood anyway. Yeah. So what about everyone else? What does everyone else wish to be doing with their time? How much time do you wish to spend before you translate once again? Did you want to make sure that he was up, make sure that you were well enough to make the translation again, or?
I think probably not long. I mean, I guess I'm going through the only things that the captain's going through the only things he knows that needs to be done, or he feels like he needs to be done, and he'll stop in with the crew one more time at the bridge and see if anyone's thought of anything, and if not, we'll get on with it, because really our next stop is kind of a break anyway. Of sorts. So for the crew anyway. So that's my thought. Unless the crew has any other thoughts right before, before the bridge crew has any thoughts right before. Anyone? We're good. Regius, are you satisfied?
I'm satisfied.
Alisanda?
Ready to go, sir.
Godwin?
As always.
Excellent.
So Godwin, tell us a bit about how Godwin, because we'll say you have a day in real space before you guys make the translation, between ensuring that everyone's back, because you need to get everyone, now that you told everyone to take the day off, you need to get everyone back to their stations once again. Tell us a bit about how Godwin keeps track of his whispers. Are there like dead drops that he has with some of his spies among the crew? Do they send things to his Vox unit? Are they physically dropping off messages in specific locations?
I believe Godwin's a bit old-fashioned, and he doesn't like the electronic trail, because that can be tracked by various means. So, yes, it's small, like micro data slate inserts, a card that gets inserted into a data slate, and just small little messages that he unencrypts and reviews. Okay. But they're physically, like almost like sleight of hand dropped. Yeah. Old school Cold War spy stuff.
How does Godwin feel about this thing having managed to secret its way among the crew, given his position as the Master of Whispers? Lord of Whispers? Master of Whispers, I think?
Master of Whispers.
Yeah. Does he blame himself whatsoever, or is this supernatural stuff, so that's not his, wheelhouse?
Well, I think at first he would have been a little bit disappointed that he wasn't able to, learn about this quicker, and that his people weren't able to provide any answers. But then he had to sit back and think, and this isn't our normal wheelhouse. These aren't physical things that can be spied upon and such. So perhaps he'll let his people off a little bit on this. But at the same time, I think he's going to make some inquiries on the ship to see if there's other ways or people he can bring into his web that will give him a greater grasp across various regions, like into maybe try and talk to somebody who's got a Signescent power that can also do a little bit of work for him on the side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure somebody from the choir is like easy to, they take breaks. They could do a little side job for him.
Yeah. The astropathic choir is not under your control, though. Technically, you could certainly second someone from that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like, keep them from doing their duties, but when they're not, doing their duties, perhaps they can do a little side work for me.
Okay. So that will be something you'll have to inquire on over time. What you can do right now, though, is this will be shortly before you translate to the warp once again. So this is after probably around the time when Captain Aquare is having his meeting with Holt, and you're getting caught up on the spying and whatnot amongst the crew, and you have word from one of your spies in, let's go over here. It is in Captain Caveman. It's in the Traders District.
They owe me.
Well, and the way that I think you meet up with this particular person is the Traders District is a very busy area, and you can picture that there are, in Blade Runner and the early scenes where he's having that, like, waiting for a seat at the noodle stall, and then gets a seat down and there's people moving all around. That's kind of like what you'll be meeting up with, is someone who, if they wish to use their currency and their pay to get something other than whatever the rations issued by the crew are, this is where they would meet up with someone. So Traders District is quite active, especially now that it's in while they're in real space. This is when everyone's making their run to the shop, as it were.
Yeah.
So you'll have an opportunity to meet up with your contact there. Am I correct that you'd rather get it in person than get it on a data slate?
If it's important, yes.
That's the message you've got. Tell us how Godwin meets up with these contacts. Does he disguise himself? If so, how does he disguise himself?
Yes, actually. He, two things. Typically goes undisguised. And he also often wear his Camelio cloak.
The chameleon line. Oh, so he can disappear if he needs to?
So if he has to disappear into a crowd.
Okay. All right. Then I actually don't know what a chameleon line cloak looks like when it's not active. Like if it's noticeably a piece of advanced tech, or whether it looks just like a cloak like any other.
Yeah, it would be interesting to know.
Mm. So your contact here, would you give us a D100 roll, please, Godwin? 84. Xandra. Xandra is embedded with some of the crews in the Traders District and some of the surrounding areas. So you make your way down, and again, like, knowing that the translation to warp will be coming within the day, things are pretty hectic and pretty active in the Traders District right now. And you're able to make your way over. You can recognize her sitting at one of the spots at this place where someone is distributing, you know, whatever the food is that they're dispensing here.
Yes. And I think Godwin he's got a beard for this particular thing.
Okay.
He doesn't like coming down. Trader's District has too many eyes, so definitely wearing a disguise.
And none of them work for you.
Yes.
So how do you approach? Do you like tap her on the shoulder and get her to meet you somewhere? Do you sit down with her?
They're familiar with, I will make contact, so I will typically enter the room and, you know, look like I'm shopping or looking at wares in the area, and I'll be casing out the room to make sure that the room's not being spotted by somebody.
Sure.
Or if any of my people are there, and then I'll move in next to them and make contact.
Why don't you give us an awareness check at +20?
Awareness. Bam. Oh, that's terrible. What did I roll?
No fate point
76. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Might as well spend some fate points.
Heck yeah.
What am I going to do? Take him to the grave?
I got to make my year-end target too.
Holy mackerel.
Minus,
I'm distracted.
I think it's quite active, right? Like, or you're distracted as well too. Like this, it's tough to tell. It's so active down here right now. If there are eyes on you, or if anyone makes you, tough to tell. So it'll be a risk going, but
It's important, apparently.
yeah.
Okay. I'll seek her out and tap her on the elbow as I'm about to sit down.
Okay.
That's the.
She's she is like an olive-skinned woman with graying dark hair. She is dressed in kind of the overalls, the way that you would expect, like someone who works in a non-technical kind of capacity on the ship here. She's got tattoos on her that mark her as part of one of the crews that are in here, but she also has the badge on her, so she's got a station in here. She's probably in her like late 40s and has been around enough to have a position on here, but is not in like a, you know, it's among the enlisted folk, as it were, on your ship. And she says, you know, kind of into her shoulder, "You got my message then?"
Yes, I did. Better be important.
Well, I hope it will be. There's a crew. Gamma 2-1. They walk down on 13th level. Their chapel. There's something funny going on in their chapel.
What do you mean?
So what you'd know is that every kind of part of here, there would be a chapel that I can't remember what the position is on the ship, but it's whoever's in charge of arranging faith on the ship. Each kind of district has its own chapel that is operated by someone, so people can go there, have the services to the Emperor of Mankind, and then go on with their day. In the same way that like there are sort of like local neighborhood churches or preferred churches in our world, it's the same type of thing. You'd end up having crews go to there, and there's a emissary from the ecclesiarchy who would be running services for them there. It's not unusual for each, one crew or several crews to all share kind of the same area. It's an expected part of, the crew. But there's what she says is something funny's going on. in this one for Gamma 2-1.
Gamma 2-1, 13th level.
That's right.
The chow. What is going on?
I don't know, but they've been quite secretive. But what they're doing, making sure their services are only for members of Gamma 2-1. I think that one of them's gone missing. Lisa's not showing his face round much. And if anyone else goes in with their services, they suddenly default back. You know that feeling when you know you're not welcome? That's the feeling you get if you go and attend their services. Everything's chopped. Everything is ecclesiarchy approved when you're there. But you get the feeling you're missing out on a joke that everyone else knows. You savvy?
Yes. Understood. I will dig into this further.
Thank you, sir.
Reassign yourself somewhere else.
Avoid them?
Forget you know anything about this.
Consider it forgotten, sir. She slurps up the last of the food. Anything else?
No. I got a weird feeling about today, so take a different way back to your hab.
I will, sir. And she gets up and leaves. So the last thing we need to do is translate into the warp.
Godwin's always jumpy. Now he's jumpy.
Understandably. So, first thing is divining the auguries. Regis, would you kind of give us a challenging Psynescence test?
Right. So Psynescence.
Oh, yeah, 'cause you got no charts as of yet. For here.
Woohoo!
Holy smokes.
That's when you need to roll a 4.
Yeah, really, holy smokes. Okay,
Yep.
So let's see. Oh, so let me check the duration. So right now, it appears to be, let's see here. Oof, because the eddies in the warp. Currently, we're looking at 62 days to get there.
Oh my.
But well, it's a bit of an indirect path as well, as far as the stability of the trip is going to be. Then it is, let's see here. That'll be the translation and then trying to locate the... Oh, nice, yeah. So you get to know what the precise that duration is. So it's an indirect route, 63 days as of yet. Omens. Captain, would you give us a D100 roll? See what the omens bid. Oh, well, let's get back to the bridge as well. 57. Crew sees this as good omens, Captain. Then, translating into the warp, would everyone kindly give us a willpower test? No modifiers.
Oh no. This always goes so bad for me.
Willpower is a really important stat, it seems. Oh, Captain. Nice,
I
Regis.
just started with just a terrible.
Oh, Alessandro.
Rolling a 1.
Alessandro, you do have...
Yeah, I can use one, right?
You can use fate points for this. Same thing for you, Godwin, if you want to fate point that. Captain Aquari has, unfortunately...
Less bad.
Okay, -2. And Godwin, do you want to spend a fate point?
Yeah, I think I will.
Okay. That new mic is awesome, Dave.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The headband's kind of crappy, but I get like it gives me a headache. But
Oh, do you loosen it up?
I need to figure it out. It's
Yeah,
different than my old
because
one.
I keep mine relatively loose because I don't want my stupid big head hurting.
Big noggin.
Yeah, exactly. It's like an orange on a toothpick. Let's see here. Okay, so the effective translation. Captain, would you give us a 1d 100 plus 20?
All right. 1d 100 plus 20. Enough.
Let's see here. Low rolls are good here.
Oops. Okay.
So what the heck did you click on? You're not rolling a success check. Just roll D100 plus 20. So that should be 64, I guess.
Yeah,
What the heck
64.
did you roll there?
Yeah, let's see.
Complex algebra.
Yeah. This is...
Anyway.
There's a saying they have among doctors. It's that if you hear hooves, think horses, not zebras. And that's effectively what you did. Like, roll a D100 plus 20. You're like, okay, and put in a much more complicated formula than we needed.
Some left stands and a...
Yeah, okay, so 62. So here's what you... Oh, your tormented psyche bubbles to the surface as a physical effect. Whew. Captain. You shall not suffer the mutant to live. So... Would you give us another D100 roll, please, Captain?
All right.
As fancy or as plain as you like. There we go, 47. Oh my gosh, Captain. You develop an implacable hatred of a single group, individual, or social class. Let's give us some thought as to what that might be. It's Holt. Fucking hates stewards. Then, so that was our captain has the physical change. That will only last for the duration of the voyage, by the by.
Okay.
Alessander, D100 plus 20, please. Do you guys remember if you re-roll, do you take the better of the two, or do you have to take the second one in this game?
I think it's the second one.
You have to take the second one? Okay. Alessander, the flesh is weak. At the end of any warp encounter, the character sees the warp's mark on his flesh and must make another challenging willpower test. If he fails, he believes he is mutating and tries to cut away the corruption, dealing 1d10 rending damage to himself, plus 2 for each degree of failure on his willpower test. So that would have been 2, so it's 1d10 plus 2, but this is only if you have encounters, hopefully with Regis's navigation. Holy fuck! If it is 63, I think it's every 7 days we roll for an encounter. So that's 9 d10 plus 18 you would take over the course of the trip.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll make it a lot shorter. Rerolls are final. Thank you, Captain. Then Godwin, 1d 100 plus 40, 40, please.
Nice.
You are kidding me.
Way to
Jeff,
lean
you know,
in, Dave. Way to lean in.
I needed to outdo Jeff somehow.
Dreams of corruption. Whispered dreams beguile the character during the journey, tempting him to serve the dark gods into whose realm he has trespassed. These dreams chip away at his soul as he progresses through the warp, gaining 1d5 corruption points immediately, plus 1 for every 60 days he spends in the warp on this journey. So why don't you give us a D5 roll? Is it every 5 points that you get a mutation, or you roll for mutation? I can't remember how it works with the corruption.
I now have 5.
You have 5 points of corruption now?
Yeah, I had 3 from before.
Okay, let's just quickly... Corruption, here we go.
It's on the sheet, I think, isn't it? Talent.
Oh, does it say what happens?
I'm currently tainted.
Every 10 corruption points you gain, you must make a test against willpower to see if his corruption is manifested as a literal mark on his body. All right, so I think that's everyone's mind or body breaking from translating to the warp, so congratulations, guys. Then it is now locating the Astronomicon. Regius. This is a routine plus 20 senescence check. Oh, hold on. It's not a stable route, though, because this is an interrupter. So it's a challenging senescence check. Sorry.
Boys, let's hope.
Yes! Beautiful. All right.
Nice.
Then, now you get to make a navigation check. You do not have charts. But give us a navigation check at challenging. No modifier. This will modify the length of the voyage.
Yeah.
Do you have any talents that modify that for you?
No.
No. Okay. Come on, Regis. We're going to get you guys going in the warp, and then we'll call it a session. Come on, big money. Oh, you got some fate points left still.
Oh!
No fate point that?
I'm good for... My goodness, yes.
Your navigation is at 81 already?
You're kidding me.
Okay, so that's 2 degrees.
No.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no, I'm gonna take more corruption points because he's gonna have us ripping around in the warp.
Yeah,
forever.
it's 240 days you're gonna be in the warp. So Alessandra's gonna be nothing but a pile of bloody chunks. And
my
Godwin will get
A point of corruption for every 60 days.
4 more points of corruption. You'll be just on the cusp of mutating by the time you get there.
God, why did I roll the 1 earlier and then I roll an 88 and a 97 now? 81% chance of succeeding. Oh.
Okay, so every 5 days of travel, we roll on the warp travel encounters. Holy fuck.
It's really like a new... It's like a new campaign.
Yeah, that's the next 6 sessions. The next 6 sessions planned.
Oh my god.
Surviving the warp, I think, is the next chapter.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's great. Well, I mean, we got something to think about between now and next session, guys.
We do indeed.
If Alessandro starts to feel this happening, can he do something during the the transport?
If you guys can catch him doing this,
That's what
Oh
we'll
yeah,
have
because
to
he's
do.
going to start cutting the corruption off that he thinks is corruption.
well, the thing is, it's
So we'll
every
have to sedate
encounter.
him or
It's every encounter you have, and the thing is, I roll for an encounter, and it is possible that you will have no encounters.
But you roll for how many every days? How many days?
Every 5 days, so this is going to be 48.
48 encounters.
48 encounters over the course of the... Holy shit.
Potential encounters.
48 potential encounters. Well, you can assume, if we go by the percentage chance, it's actually about a 40, because your Warpsbane hull, we rolled encounters twice, and then the navigator picks which one. There's about a 40% chance. I think that's actually not right statistically speaking, but let's just say that 40% chance of no encounters. So we can take 40% off of there. That leaves only 60% of that, which is 4.8 times 6 is 25.6 encounters. So, I'm sure you'll be fine.
So, guys, shall we play Wrath and Glory or Imperial Malediction next?
All right. Well,
Crazy.
I think that there's also a possibility, like when you realize the trip is that long, you could probably drop out of the warp early. It just will require you to, if you're getting out, you're going to be severely off course, so God knows where you go again.
Yeah, it's got to think it's possibly better than 240 days.
Well, especially with how fucked up everyone's going to be. Godwin is going to be whispering to dark gods. Alessandro's cutting himself up. And,
hey, I'm okay with that.
I mean, really, when we were starting these rolls for the warp encounters, Captain Aquari, I bet you were feeling you were really getting the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
And all you need to roll is just like, oh man, well, I'm not getting the carving parts of myself off. Yours isn't escalating, right? Yours was just a flat, whatever you got, you got. You hate someone for 240 days.
Right.
All right, well,
I've simply killed all the stewards on board. That's all I've done.
I thought 81% chance. I thought this is going to be fine.
Are you just going to roll that, Corneli, to see what it is you hate? Maybe you hate all of your chiefs of staff.
I will leave it to Sean to decide what that manifests as. But my goodness, yeah, that's ill-fated voyage.
Not good.
Not good. So then, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for our final session of our Rotator campaign. I'm kidding. Thank you so much for joining us for the final session of the Passenger Most Malign. I guess I get to come up with a name for our next voyage, and I get to replace this image with an image of the warp. So that's something.
Yeah.
And the first episode of 600
Right.
Yeah, really.
for the long journey.
Oh my god.
Seriously.
24 encounters. Holy smokes.
It's crazy.
No, sorry, 48 encounters. Oh my gosh. Yeah, wow. So for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for, really, we've got the next 20, if we can get 2 encounters done per session, that's 26 sessions for all of next year. So
let's be real about this. Regius has been in cahoots with the Chaos Gods the entire time, and he's deliberately trying to mess us up and send us all off on the path away from
man.
it.
Wow, that's just, my goodness. So for those listening at home, we're gonna have some time to consider between now and next week, but we'll be back in the warp in 2 weeks' time. But in the interim, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please do not hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There is also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where all of us are active, and we have channels that are dedicated to Warhammer role-playing games, most of the other games we run on the channel, most of the campaigns we have on the channel, as well as a ton of other great channels with great people on them. There's DM discussion and finding a group and convention chat, and there's just a really lovely community that's built up over the years over there, and you are more than welcome to join us. There's also a link down below to something called to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Our friends at Noble Knight Games are the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have an unmatched selection or a terrific selection, I should say, of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs. If they do not have something in stock that you're looking for, you can often put it on a want list, and then they will send you an email when it comes in. And if you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code FALLMUSER, all caps, all one word, and you'll save yourself 10% on your purchase. If you are listening to this at another time, after January 15, 2024, come to one of our more recent videos, and you'll find the discount code that is currently active. There is also a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages. That is the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity. Really amazing organization, active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children. And all donations that go through that link go directly to support the kids who benefit from their services. As a small way of saying thank you, this year we have been playing a year-long campaign that has been voted on for where the adventures are set, what kind of characters we're playing, what game we're using, by the donors to the Hero Save Villages campaign. And we will be playing the final part of that campaign in 2 weeks' time. The session will be set in the 1980s, played with D20 Modern, and will feature a bunch of unlicensed paranormal investigators involved in our final wrap-up session for our Year of Ill Omens campaign. I'm really looking forward to that. And then a huge thank you to the generous donors who have made that campaign possible throughout this entire year. I can't believe we're at the end of it already. It really just feels like we were just setting that up at the beginning of the year. But we will be back in 2 weeks' time. And last thing I will say is an enormous thank you to our stalwart explorers. So Dave, James, Jeffrey, and Sean, thank you so much for clearing your ship of that pesky warp creature, and then choosing to spend the better part of a year potentially dealing with more of them. So good.
Good on you.
Good on you. Regular XP as per usual, guys. Then we'll be back in 2 weeks' time, but until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours. Take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our heroes are getting in, or troubles that our explorers are encountering as they're just trying to make their way back so that Alessandro can buy a new gun. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.
See ya.
Bye-bye.